I was born in a family where my grandparents and my dad were in the food business. I did not realize that it was actually making so much impact on me ever since I was young. For every single dinner at night, my dad would be talking about food with my mom. Malaysia is not as extreme as Singapore when it comes to scarcity of land, but we're quite similar because our importation proportion is a lot higher than local. Certain individuals have said that it can go overall as high as 90. My father is in importation. Yes, I want to vertically go all the way down to retailers because that's what's happening in China. That's what's happening in Hong Kong. The truth is, how they behave is essentially telling you that down the track we are going to be going towards that direction. Retailers are importers, importers are retailers. That is my strongest belief. Maison Billions was born in May 2021. That happened in July. Revenue on one platform alone, 125, 128 across all platforms, above 150k. It went from 10k to that. I was making my yearly salary in a month. That was the moment I realized, okay, dopamine receptor fried. There's no going back.
Being a first mover in the market, right? How do you leverage that to make sure that 10 years from now, if that's how long it takes for us to become a more efficient market, what do you need to do today for you to win that battle 10 years from now?
Trust me, we are no longer living our parents' generation. We live in an era where attention is money. Everyone is constantly glued to their phone. So this is where the demand is from. So in order to supply, you have to cut through everything to get back to this phone. I need to grow awareness. People need to know me. People need to know my brand. When people know my brand and I'm the early bird, I'm getting a lot of traction, a lot of attention whatsoever. Now that's ingrained in someone's head. I strongly believe that if you listen to a message one time every single day for like 30 days, for 60 days, that will change your view. You can't take that away easily. So that's why the name is Maison Billions, House of Premiums. Things will not be the same. We have to keep watching out because when the exponential change happens, so like that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Leaders Unlocked. Today I'm joined by Abraham Lai, founder of Maison Billions, an importer and retailer of premium quality meat sourced from countries across the world like Denmark, Netherlands, Spain, and Australia, to name a few. Maison Billions was built on a clear mission to transform how food moves from farm to plate in the region, making high quality meat more accessible for customers, operating on the belief that everyone deserves to eat well. Abraham is well on his way to creating a more efficient food supply market within the region, one customer at a time. Abraham, it's an absolute honor to have you on the show. Welcome.
Pleasure is mine, Shavin. Pleasure is mine.
We're on the same age, right? We're both in our late 20s. A lot of Gen Zs, we spoke about this the first time. Everyone's very focused on getting into a certain field, whether it's tech, startups, finance, consulting, right? But you are operating within a very traditional business, food supply, right? Which I think is very interesting. And you're also thriving right now. Business is doing really well. So tell me, man, tell me the origins of Abraham, of Maison Billions. I do believe that everything you've built today, there's a story to it. There's some context to it.
I was born in a family where like my grandparents and my dad were in the food business. So I did not realize that it was actually making so much impact on me ever since I was young. Like for every single dinner we had at night, right? My dad would be talking about food with my mom, talking about like how he thinks that there's a demand for the mass market and the margins for the mass market is different from premium market. Like, all of these little things that they kind of stay in my mind for the rest of my life. So yeah, I read something really interesting when I was 21 that Donald Trump was born in a very wealthy family, as we all know, right? Real estate, big time real estate player. Fred Trump, the dad, was also doing the same thing. So Donald Trump knows a lot about real estate because of the way he brought up. It is true that a lot of people think that you don't really have an advantage, but you actually do. When you listen to something from an expert every day on a daily basis, you are actually gathering so much information as well. So that was my case. And when I was like 23, I was going around finding jobs. So I counted a venture capital that was showing me some sort of information about the food retail market in Singapore. And fun fact, the Singaporean market is quite similar to the Malaysian market. Reason being that we are both nations that import a lot of food. Even though we have huge land, we have massive land, East Malaysia, West Malaysia, we are not really self-sustaining. We are importing so much food on a daily basis in order for our people to purchase at an affordable price. So yeah, I saw the data in Singapore that the venture capital was working on. Then I realized
What was the name of the VC?
Irish Venture Capital. Yeah, I had an interview with them, and they were kind of working on a company called G Life. So I happened to be able to touch on the data and stuff like that. And I realized that G Life was doing a lot of vegetable importation, right? and it was really working in Singapore because Singapore doesn't grow their own vegetables, as we all know. Malaysia is not as extreme as Singapore when it comes to the scarcity of land, but we're quite similar because our importation proportion is a lot higher than local
What is it?
production. Every industry is different, like beef is different, pork is different, but official data would say we're around like 60% importation, 40% local, but that is official data and it's very easy to manipulate data. So truth is certain individuals have said that it can go as high as 90.
Oh wow.
Yeah, bottom line is it doesn't go below.
And what's the ratio in Singapore?
Or Singapore is around like 90 to 95%, like, or even higher. Yeah, because they don't really use their land for food production. And they're very open about it as well. Malaysia has got the same characteristic as Singapore, and I realized that what RHL was doing with G Life in terms of like, the future outlook, the vision and stuff like that, that could be very much applicable to Malaysian market as well. The knowledge in food that I've gotten over the years, I know that the mass market has had always, relied on imported food. I would say, my parents were actively talking about this ever since I was young. They kept talking about how, you'd be surprised the amount of beef that's actually imported. The buffalo from India, the Australian beef, the Argentinian beef. Have you heard of Malaysian beef before? He says, yeah, see, here's the thing. But you never thought about it until people talk about it. Then you start thinking about it, but wait, hold on, wait a minute, it's true. And we import a lot of chicken from Thailand. And Thailand's got similar weather, similar soil. So the chicken that you're consuming from Thailand is very similar to Malaysian chicken. Fun fact, weather makes farming different. Like if you rear some animals in a cold country, the outcome will be very different from the outcome from a hot country, like a tropical country like Malaysia. So Thailand and Malaysia sharing the same weather, similar soil.
Can you give an example of maybe a chicken being reared in two different weathers, climates? What would the quality of the food taste?
First of all, the breed will matter already. So the chicken breed in the United States and in Denmark will not be the same as Southeast Asian breed as well. Okay, so you live in the UK, right?
Yeah.
When you taste the chicken in the UK, would you say they taste exactly the same as Malaysian chicken? Exactly. So the breed is the first thing. The second thing is, imagine this: if you had animals like pigs, like cows, like chicken in a very cold country, do you think the fat content, the fat level to survive, right? Naturally speaking, will be higher, will be hardened, will be higher. If the fat in the animal is hardened and higher, then how it tastes will be very different as well. Yeah, a lot of Malaysians do not know that the chicken that we're consuming nowadays, a lot of them are actually from Thailand. And beef, you never heard of Malaysian beef before because it's not really a thing. Have you heard of Malaysian lamb or Australian lamb? See what I'm saying? When you really go into it, when you really go down a rabbit hole, you realize that a lot of the food products in Malaysia are actually imported. And I knew about that. I saw what RHL did with G Life. Then I know that I could do something very similar in Malaysia. And
What was the specific thing that during your case study in G Life made you realize about the Malaysian food supply market that was similar to the Singaporean food supply market?
yeah, I'm not too sure about the specifics of the story because it's been like 5 years. But I remember that there were two brothers who came from food businesses as well, but not supplying restaurant businesses. So what they realized was that a lot of times when it comes to buying the same products, just different days, right? The prices could fluctuate just like stock market. So there was no stability, there was no transparency. And that is really annoying for buyers. Like, imagine if you own a restaurant, right? You want to get some cabbage today, let's say simplicity purpose, just one ringgit. And you want to get it closer to the week, it can go up to 150 ringgit. But your menu prices remain the same. So it's not really ideal for your end. So now you got to start thinking about how that will affect the whole F&B businesses in Singapore. Because if you control the supply, right? Let's say importation supply, and the price fluctuates, it also affects the whole market. It's a cause and effect. So the two brothers knew that transparency was not there, prices are not the same all the time. So what they did was they start up a system to create transparency between the farm as well as buyers. But how do buyers get access to that kind of information? You have an app. So on the app, you can see the stock level and the price changes as well.
Wow.
Because the thing is, why do I think that this concept works for Malaysia? Let me speak from Malaysian point of view, right? Because I don't know much about Singapore. I don't want to talk about things that I don't know much, but I know it was a loophole that they found. Use that loophole to gain something, and it works. It makes things more efficient. In the Malaysian market, imagine this. Imagine you have a friend or just running a stall, chicken rice stall. You're selling chicken rice. So you're getting around like 100 chicken per day to sell chicken rice. Yeah.
Achong.
Ah Chong. Do you think Ah Chong would know whether he's buying from an importer, the first source, or Ah Chong would just trust another guy, Aming?
Distributor, supplier.
Exactly. So Ah Chong will call out Aming and be like, hey, I need 100 chicken by tomorrow. How much is chicken? I'm selling my chicken rice for like 10 ringgit per plate. The chicken can't be, higher than this amount, right? Aming will be like, oh no, don't worry, you're selling for 10 ringgit per plate. The cost will be 8 ringgit. Trust me, like, I'll make sure that the cost is 8 ringgit. So Achong will just be like, oh yeah, it's good. I'm gonna make money today. But do you think Achong is confident knowing that, oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting it from the first source?
Yeah.
That's the best source. No, it doesn't happen that way. So the days before COVID, right? Days before COVID, there are not a lot of things that you can Google. You can Google certain things. Information might be outdated, or it could just be information from a discussion. It's not really concrete evidence like this is the price of chicken. If you get lower than that, you're getting scammed. No. But nowadays you got ChatGPT, you got AI. The game is totally different. It's super different. Back in the days, when you wanted to find out the price of chicken, you had to call up people. But the thing is, a lot of traditional businesses were not online. You can't even find their website. There's literally down the road in Setapa and just one building, old uncle running it. doesn't want to innovate. Like, it's like, yeah, I've been selling chicken for like 50 years of my life. Like, why do you care? That's literally what it is. So now imagine this: the year is 2018, right? The year is 2018. How do you find out the price of chicken? You have to ask friends of friends to be like, okay, who's the biggest chicken supplier? Oh, that's one in Tanjung Sepat. That's one in Setapa. And you got to go visit them one by one or get phone call, calling them up. That's how you get prices of chicken. But the thing is, you could never be efficient enough to find out the true price, because someone will be selling for like 950. Someone will be selling for 1050. It's one ringgit difference. You don't know, because when there's no transparency, that's always manipulation. That's just a rule of the game, right? That's just business. So now, the thing is this, right? If Ah Chong doesn't get the transparency, because Ah Chong is not going to do all that research, right? Ah Chong's been buying from Ah Meng for, let's say, a decade. And Ah Meng's been selling to Ah Chong for a reasonable price, because Ah Meng knows that if I sell it to this guy for 8 ringgit and this guy's selling for 10 ringgit, he's okay. He's selling in Petaling Jaya. People can actually afford that. So it's okay. It's okay. It's not that bad. But if you're an economist, do you think that's the most efficient way? No, it's not. Because there's middlemen. That middleman, Ah Meng could be a middleman. Ah Meng is probably not a chicken farmer. Ah Meng is probably not a chicken importer. Ah Meng is probably just a chicken distributor. So here's another thing. Ah Chong will never know. Because Ah Chong could ask Ah Meng as well, and Ah Meng could be like, I am the importer. Okay, you don't know. So when there's inefficiency and you create a system to make it more efficient, one end to the other, the importer to the end consumer, you save a lot of cost in the middle. And you know what? Consumers are buying for lower. That's why it is. People are already doing that in Hong Kong, in Taiwan, in Singapore.
How do you know that?
Spoke to a few mates in London. Then I realized that
In the same industry as well?
not really.
Just, okay, generally
because I asked them to, to chat up with certain retailers to see how they function in Hong Kong and stuff like that. Then I realized that retailers are importers, importers are retailers. Do you see what I mean?
Wow.
Do you see what I'm talking about? If retailers are importers, importers are retailers, no one can make money in the middle.
Wow.
Because imagine this, you're an importer, all right? You've been making money from importation all along. And then there's another young guy around the block that wants to be a retailer, okay? Yeah, you can, but you're going to get smoked in a bit, because the importers can come in and be like, I can cut your prices by this much, I can outbid you by this much. So you can't survive unless you have both channels. You have one end to the other. You're so efficient. Your price is the best in the market, and consumers consumers are the one getting the benefits, because consumers are not overpaying. Ah Chong's been overpaying for the longest time. Ah Chong could have sold his chicken rice for 9 ringgit. Just didn't realize that. But yeah, those were back in the days. But now we got a lot more transparency. Nowadays, right, most companies that sell chicken, pork, beef, they're online. So the phone number is over there. So all you have to do is make a few phone calls, and you realize that what is the market price. And I think So, the wage gap is a big problem now as well. So everyone is constantly, comparing food prices. People kind of know about the market rate. I mean, I expect that to happen over the years, like right now. But back in the days, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, not the case. So yeah, then I realized that what Gila was doing in Singapore was actually so applicable to Malaysia as well, because in Malaysia, if more than half of the food was imported from overseas, right? As long as you control the imported food, right, you kind of can gauge the market rate, right? Because put it this way, chicken, let's say hypothetically speaking, I could be wrong, okay? Let's just say 50-50, simplicity purpose, okay? If you take away 50% imported chicken, the local chicken price will get wrecked. That's the way it is.
Why?
Because if you take away imported chicken, now the demand goes higher.
Okay.
When the demand goes higher, do you think the sellers will sell at the same price?
Mm.
It's the same thing in stock market, right? It's supply and demand. So if you take away the imported chicken, you kind of wrecking the consumers. And now the local suppliers could actually increase the prices to benefit from that. You know what I'm saying? Local suppliers don't like importers, because the more importers you get, the less they can sell for it. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. So now you get the imported market, you kind of have a strong influence. Not kind of, you definitely do have a strong influence over the market. So now you could do that in Malaysia by controlling all the imported. Imagine this: if you control all the imported food industry, like beef, lamb, seafood, chicken, right? Especially when imported goods stand for more than half. Technically, you are having the most efficient, the most reasonable price products out there, or brand out there.
So going back to what you were saying, so you noticed this gap in the market. Fill me in on the timeline between you still working corporate and then going about and setting up Maison Billions.
So when I moved back from Australia to Malaysia, it was COVID. I came back in 2020, was looking for a job. And at that time it was COVID, so the HR departments were all closed. And I had to be scrolling for opportunities every single day. Did that every single day, and found out that RHB was open. So I went to get a job at RHB as a management trainee. At the same time that I was getting interviewed by RHB, I was getting interviewed by RHL. So I learned about Maison Billions and stuff like that. So you know what? It's been 4 years. I hope that people forgive me for saying this. I was not allowed to, open up an SSM, like register for a business.
You want to say that? You okay saying that?
I mean, now they can't really charge me anymore, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I was not really allowed to do so, but I did it. Don't want to go into details. Thanks for the warning. But yeah, I always registered in SSM. Billions was born in May 2021. I definitely did make use of the fact that it was COVID, and I had to jump on the COVID wave. Why is that? Because I believe the world works in the supply and demand concept. Everything is supply and demand if you really look at it at large. So where's the demand coming from? I feel like we live in an attention economy because people are constantly on their phone, right, scrolling. Right. So you're either on Instagram, TikTok, or the Rate Note, any of these platforms. But the truth is, people are always glued to their phones. So now, when people are glued to their phones, they're consuming content, right? This is where the demand's from. And during COVID, the demand was basically the same demand but on steroids, because you're not allowed to go out. You're just very much encouraged to do everything digital. So I had to make use of that opportunity to market my brand as much as possible, as quick as possible. So I couldn't wait. I had to register my company during the peak of COVID.
Was it not an option to just join your dad's business?
So I have this theory, I believe, a principle that I uphold to very much. I would only work with my father if I could work on something that he can't work on. Like right now, okay, I'm doing the retail, the marketing, online groceries. There's no way you can ask a 60-year-old to do any of these because they belong to the traditional era. Just like how if your dad owns a casino and you want to start an online casino, they're two different things. See what I'm saying? I don't gamble, by the way, but yeah, my point is that. So I will only want to work with my father if I feel like I'm contributing something, not just doing the same job. Because if he created that business, he created that model, me doing the same job, it's a very rare occasion that I can do it better. Maybe I could, maybe I couldn't. But the probability is not there. I'll be very honest. And in order to get to a different level, you kind of have to diversify. You kind of have to be more visionary. You gotta open your mind. You gotta look through every angle. You know what I'm saying? So that's my theory, and that's the principle that I uphold to very much.
So yeah, going back to what you're saying, registering a company SSM.
Yeah, I did that in May, and the peak of COVID happened around like August. Got very lucky, and it was strict lockdown. like I said, supply and demand. Supply and demand has always been a thing. We live in an attention economy, right? So people are always on the phone. So at that time, one best thing about online groceries is that you get all the data online. It's right there. You don't have to collect it. You can collect it when you're running a physical shop, but when it comes to your online groceries, you get all the data in one go. So that's what I did. So I was looking at the data. I was like, bro, you want?
Were a lot of people doing it in the market at that point in time?
No. Yeah, but they're not in a very efficient manner. A lot of people have stuff. Okay, they buy stuff from a distributor, they buy stuff from a retailer, and they sell it online. Right? They do live streams or whatsoever, they sell it online. But is it the best price? Is it best products? No. My point is very simple. I was focusing a lot on sustainability as well as longevity.
Explain the two.
Okay, if you're riding on COVID, the COVID wave, which is attention economy, you see the correlation, right? You need to have a product that can cater to enough people that even when COVID dies down, so the attention that you've gotten early on can still allow you to not go to zero. You see what I'm saying? This is the rule of the game, right? And in order to not go to a zero, you need a lot of attention, right? In order to go from zero to higher up, you need sustainability and longevity because time helps. What's the difference between my business as well as, like, let's say, Taiwanese milk tea, Japanese yogurt? Let me tell you what. With my business, right, it's so core, it's so raw, right? It's raw material, the rawest you can get. So when people buy from you, they're okay with it because they can play with it, they can do whatever they want with it, right? And as long as they come back, time is my best friend, it's not my enemy. But when it comes to business that's trendy, sorry to say, I'm not trying to be rude or whatsoever, but you know what? You can't really make a good point if you're not offending people. But there are a lot of businesses out there that are very trendy. With trend businesses, time is money. You have to like ride on time, like a lot. You shouldn't even sleep. I'll be honest. If you're riding on trendy business, you shouldn't even sleep. So now, when the trend dies down, you don't get the returning customers. You're cooked. You're wrecked. Your rental is due there, contracts due there, the renovation 300k sunk in. But if you made all the money back, congratulations. You just make name for yourself. You know what I'm saying? But everything in life is a gamble. So now, point is, for my business, right, I was looking for the returning customers and stuff like that, right? So it doesn't matter if it dips, but if it doesn't go to zero, it will always come back. So sustainability and longevity are the most important thing in the game. Back to the point. I needed to act quick. 1 month of preparation. I was renting an office. Thank God, during lockdown, offices were so cheap, bro. Like, there's no market rate. When it comes to lockdown, it depends on which corporation needs more cash flow. You see what I'm saying? Is the rule is do not die. Number one rule is do not die during COVID. So a lot of people are willing to just negotiate for a good rental price. There is no market rate anymore. Market rate does not exist anymore. It's wild times, bro. So I got my small office, very cute small office for 1.1k per month.
Whereabouts?
Subang Jaya.
Okay.
1.1k per month. I was like, bro, sign me up. Got secondhand machineries.
The machineries, you grew up around them, knowing about it, or did you have to do research, ask your dad what machinery should I get?
No, I knew about it.
Okay.
I learned about it. I knew about it because my dad has never dealt with any retail customers in his life.
Right.
Yeah, my dad has never dealt with any packaged goods in his life.
Okay.
It's purely raw materials trading.
Okay.
It's a very different game. Like the customers they're buying could be buying the whole container, could be buying, lots of cartons and stuff like that and just distribute. Very different marketing, very different clientele, very different volume as well. So yeah, but the machineries and stuff like that, in order to turn them into consumer friendly, zero clue. But thank God, you know what? I would drive past a lot of places on the highway that would sell secondhand used machineries. So every single time when I drive past it, ever since I was young, I would always think, those machineries could be used for something. So when the time comes, I go to the same place. And I'm telling you, like COVID was not real. That era was not real. Like reminiscing, like,
I mean, it was real for Maison Billions, bro.
Yeah. So many business went bust during COVID, right? The machineries were so cheap because people just dumped it. Yeah, you can get them for less than 50%. So the rental.
And how much were they costing? Okay, I'm curious. I'm always curious, right? Especially you started this during COVID. How old were you then? 2020.
23.
So around that time, did you get any funding from your dad, or did you just use your savings?
You don't really need funding because at that time when I was working, it was lockdown, right? So for lockdown, I was just eating with my mom every single day, and I get to like save a lot of money
Right.
because I didn't have to have a social life.
Okay.
Not meant to have a social
Understood.
life at that time. And if you think about it, no longer that low barrier entry barrier. Now it's not that low anymore because with the rental rate is gone back to market.
Yeah.
With machineries, yeah, it's not gonna
All
be 50%.
reverted to mean, right?
Yeah, and also if you want to do something online, it's really hard to catch attention nowadays because everyone's doing something online. It's so hard. Like the algorithms change so many times. It's not going to be as easy as it was back in the days, right? Timing is very important. Back then, because I was not going to have a physical shop, so I don't need renovation, no nothing. All I need is a dark space, not very pleasant office.
Yeah,
Calm.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just need a table,
Yeah.
a laptop, right, and an area to package the goods.
Okay.
That's all I need. That's all I need. And the area could be anywhere because we're just doing online businesses, right? And the transportation was outsourced. There are people that wanted to do transportation businesses as well. They wanted to use that opportunity to run, like to own a transportation company after COVID.
Actually, if you don't mind me asking, why didn't you just do it from home?
Oh,
Could you not have done it from home?
No, you couldn't
Like-
because you couldn't because with the machineries and stuff like that, right? It gets a bit dirty.
Ah.
Yeah, it gets a bit dirty, and also I do need like around 2 to 3 staff to
Okay.
constantly be cutting the meat and stuff.
So
like
you
that.
hired stuff from the get go.
Funny story. I had 3 staff, just 3 staff. All right, 3 staff from Sabah. Okay.
How do you find them?
It's not that hard, like, because there are a lot of people looking for jobs. A lot of people around me at that time, they're shrinking their businesses and stuff like that. So these stuff, they used to work at manufacturing companies in Klang whatsoever. And as soon as I know that people were shrinking, the businessmen were shrinking their businesses, you can always offer to take over the good stuff and stuff like that.
But
So
how did you know this businessman?
just through friends and connections. But to be fair, during COVID, a lot of people were retrenched.
Maybe just to go into the more granular details, right? Refreshing what you've just gone through. I sort of want to understand the timeline. So I know you started Maison Billions in May 2021. Because this is something I'm curious about. Like whenever someone has a business idea, what are the low-hanging fruits for you to try and go and get first, right? How did you plan that out? Okay, first let me register. Okay, next let me hire the stuff. Or did you find a place first to rent out? Did you get the equipment first? You get what I mean?
So registered the SSM in March. I had 2 months and I was working from home at that time. So I had a bit of free time.
Okay.
I had to study, I had to read about all the, the vacuum packs, all the packaging stuff like that. So I know about the machineries.
Right.
I also know about the materials to use.
Okay.
Okay. With offices, it's not that hard. Why is that? Because I was using the advantage that, I came from the food industry,
background,
right?
yeah.
Food background, right? So there are very limited areas, like industrial areas in Klang Valley. So I know the spots already, roughly. Right? That's one in Setialam. That's one in Subang. All you need to do is to find out whether the landlord, right, has got extra units and stuff like that. So these are the research. Okay, first of all, you have to find out, okay, what is the food grade vacuum pack? Okay, that one is not tough. Make a phone call. They will know. They are the professionals. They will tell you which one is what people are using and stuff like that.
And how are you making a phone call? Like how are you finding this contact? Just Google?
Google.
Okay.
Google what, like I was doing it in my own bedroom,
Wow.
Googling, finding out the contact for the vacuum packs. Machinery wise, I also call up a few, but the thing is, remember what I was talking to you about? With machinery, I want to get the second-hand one.
Yeah.
The second-hand one usually don't have a page. Very just Texas cowboy style. Get it? Like get out of my place. Yeah, $500. Put it down. Get out of my place. Like that. I was like, okay, yeah. I mean the Malaysian way, but yeah, I was like, sure. So I remember driving past that all the time. Yeah, no. I'm telling you, I still remember the lady over there. You get in, it's like, what do you want? But I'm looking for that.
Chinese
Yeah. It's like, there you go, all 3. I'm like, do you have better ones? No, just get out, bro. Like, you meet all sorts of people, bro. Like, I'm not lying to you. You meet all sorts of people. You deal with all sorts of people, and I don't blame the auntie. Like, the auntie is not really a supplier. She's just an exchange. She gets something in.
Distributor.
Yeah, I only got 3. You want them? Take them. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, sure. So yeah, didn't really want to pay full price for the machineries and stuff like that. So I got a lot of second-hand items. That's what. Oh yeah, they also sell freezers because I need freezers.
Yeah.
I need freezers. So they also sell freezers.
So you got everything from the same shop?
Yeah, I'll say
Most
so. Yeah, plus or minus, and they do have different branches as well.
Okay.
So
auntie is quite big.
yeah, but auntie doesn't know what other branches go, so I have to do a lot of driving to find out. And you know what? On different days, they got new stuff coming in. They will notify you as well. You have to go back, bro. Your testing your luck. But that's what's so fun. Like,
Bro, and you're doing all of this during COVID, Abe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
You had a
because
full-time job. I mean,
I
okay,
should
you had a lot more free time, I understand, but
yeah,
okay.
I had a lot more free time, and I will do that during lunch.
Okay, so vacuum pack, calling up the suppliers, going to auntie shop, buying all the equipment, buying your storage, and then at what point do you think about staff, about renting out the space? Or were they all happening around the same time?
They all happen around the same time, I would say. But I was not really stressing so much about the stuff and the space until I got all the information right first.
Why?
So because the thing is, I was thinking about the margins, right? I was calculating for the margins. So I need to know the margins first, right? Before dedicating to an actual physical place, or like, to hire two, three staff, okay? And with the staff, right, I only want them to be doing the production stuff. I don't need stuff for marketing, accounting, or so, because I could do it on my own. That's what I was thinking in my head. I don't want to go in saying that I got a fancy office, 10 machines, 20 staff, and there's no demand. A drug dealer owns a bigger business than a guy that's got all the fancy stuff and no customers. Think about it. If there's no customer, you can have a very nice office. You can have a very nice office.
But the only person losing is you, right?
Yeah. You can make it so fancy as well as saying that, we help high-end clients to deal with the law problems using our AI technology. It's like, okay, who's your client? No, still looking. It's like, yeah, that love. Okay, I'm not shitting on anyone.
No. You're just being real, bro.
And that's a drug dealer, James Johnson or something in Liverpool, like just we order stash like 6 cans of beers, right? It's like, bro, the whole Liverpool buys from him. So who's a bigger businessman? You need a customer to come in first. So I made it very clear that I calculated all the margins. So I have to know the packaging cost, how much I have to fork out for the machinery. And hence, that's the reason why I became friends with Auntie, because Auntie got everything for 50%, helped me a lot, right? Now, A is done, B is done. The raw materials, how much do they cost? Okay, I'll get into it.
You're buying these equipments and all upfront? How much would it even cost?
You have to pay upfront.
Upfront, okay.
You have to pay up. They don't cost a lot, I'll be real. Because with the vacuum bags, right, during COVID, they were not doing that well as well. Because it's a big manufacturing. I was at the right place at the right time. Let me tell you why. I was making standard salary from RHB for close to half a year, right, before Maison Billions was born, right? Bro, I did not have to have a social life. I didn't have to go out and eat. So at that time, during lockdown, if you're staying with your parents, do I have privilege? Yes. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's true. Like, there is no nobility in picking the hardest way. No, I don't think so. You just have to look around, like, what advantage you have, right? Make use of it. So at that time, I had the advantage. I was staying with my mum. My mum loves cooking. A traditional woman, loved that. God bless her. So I was eating every day at home, save up all my money. Think about it. I was making like standard salary, right? So for 6 months, I have like tens of thousands already saved up. But if it was not COVID, it would be very different. Different game. You have to read the situation that you're in and think that, this actually allows me an opportunity to act different compared to normal days, That's essentially what I was doing. Boom. Tens of thousands saved up. Machinery 50% off. One machinery used to be like 3K, bring it down to 1.5.
Wow.
And if you take 2, Auntie might give you another 10%, depending on her mood. Right. So there's a lot of like wheeling and dealing. A lot about human relationships. When you chat into Auntie, sometimes you have to learn how to take a piss as well. Like, it's like all of these things test your luck. So I was testing my luck. For vacuum bags, that's a bit different. It's pretty standard. You want a low price, you have to get a large volume. But I don't even have customers. Of course, I'm going for the lowest volume. You know what I'm saying? That one's done. That's a vacuum machine, right? To do the vacuum bags, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The industrial one can do like 8, 10 in 10 seconds. I bought the home one, the one that you have to wait for like 10 seconds for one pack. So if you were to vacuum all your bags, right, pack them nicely, you have to stand in front of the machine doing it all day. Yeah, because the industrial one costs a few thousands. I was stingy, bro. Trust me, I was stingy. I was so stingy, bro.
Bro, one more thing. The main thing, supplies.
Oh, yeah, same thing.
Where were you getting the meat from?
Yeah, let's go into supplies first. All right, here's the thing. Here's the thing. With data, you save a lot of time. But the worst thing that could happen is there's no data.
Okay.
But with data, you save a lot of time. Not to shit on Malaysian government, but the data that we get is pretty much delayed. But good. If everything is too efficient, you can't make money anyways. Do you want to live in Japan? I don't want to live in Japan. God, no, I don't want to live in Japan. So my dad told me, he said to me, son, this is after I graduated, by the way. He said, son, I won't give you any extra money or any large chunk of investment or whatsoever so you can do your own thing. But you can make use of my connections, like the uncles that I had dinner with when I was younger. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes making use of the connections does not mean that, I have to get them to do stuff or whatsoever. I just have to get information out of them. With data, things get very easy. But without data, things get very time consuming. That's the word, okay? So I need data. Okay, let me tell you why I need data for supplies. When a country is like Malaysia and Singapore, that is so like import heavy, right? Importation works in a way that the bigger the volume, the lower the price. So if you go into certain blocks with very small volume, you're essentially paying premium. So when you're already paying premium, how can you make sure that you bring your consumers the best price? You don't. So now I need data to find out who's got the biggest volume for every sector, like chicken, salmon, beef, lamb, pork, right? But being in the food industry, having made enough friends in the food industry, and certain people that I cannot share, some of them do have the data. So with that data, right, making use of my connections, I ranked up all the largest importers. So now what's the difference between me and Achong? Achong does not even know Ameng was an importer. Was he getting the best price? I just saved
But now you know.
months, years, going straight to the big boys. And you know what? There's one similarity between the big boys. They're all old. Because it's traditional business. You don't see a big boys twist. There's
Are
like
there a lot of
27.
importers, bro, for like, let's say, different types of meat, for like beef?
Yeah.
Are there like more than 10 major importers in Malaysia?
100%, but
wow.
in the world of capitalism, right, we always go down to a few monopolies. And especially in the traditional businesses, which means they've been doing this for decades. One importer, a few importers, same thing. So I'll call all of them up anyways to ask, okay, how much is an Australian grass-fed strip loin steak? At that time, right, it was still an era where things were not transparent. So some of the importers would just be like, oh yeah, it's $95. Sorry, 95, isn't it? Like, I knew it. And also, the last thing you want to hear is this. Hey, how much is Australian grass-fed strip loin steak? And they ask the question, how much you're buying? Now you know the price is not the final price. It can always be brought down.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
So nothing is concrete. That's business. Nothing is concrete because the world is not really moving in the most efficient manner. We all know that. Okay, now I told them, I was like, hey, look, I know you're the largest importers. I know how many containers you bring in every month, and I know you can do it cheaper. Game knows game. They know that I know. And you know what's the best thing during that era? The similarity between all of these people is they're old. You don't see a 27-year-old guy running the most traditional business. You don't see that. When they're old during COVID, they don't get involved with online grocery. They don't. Because they're very traditional businesses. And during COVID, when people were pushing for like online industries all the time, right? They're so out of touch. So I was telling them that, hey, look, I know that it's not the price. Don't lie to me. I know. But look, I'll run the online platform. I want to get from you because I know you're the largest importers. It's completely pointless for me to go deal with like a bunch of small guys. So I'll just deal with you. They know that it's true. Like you see how the game theory works, right? You have my trust now. I have your trust. I run that for you. Okay? And if we do go big from the online groceries, I only buy from you, which means that you don't have to worry about your online arm or whatsoever. Don't have to worry about that.
You are sort of them diversifying.
I'm hedging, yeah. Essentially, that's what it is.
Okay.
Because the timing was just so right because all of them are old. If I bump into a 27-year-old guy, somehow just made it big in traditional business, he's now the biggest importer for chicken. God damn, bro, he's gonna run the
He's gonna
website.
do
not
everything
me.
himself, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say timing was actually the most important thing for me. Because truth be told, I have confidence in myself, but if you ask me to replicate what I've done right now, it'll be a lot harder. It'll be a lot more challenging than it was. So yeah, that's how I got all my supplies. Okay, one by one. Yes, got chicken. Yes, got salmon. And I know these boys are the largest importers. So I walk into the market with great confidence because I know these are already the biggest importers. So if I see another guy selling at that price, I know he needs to sell it at that price because he's not getting it at the best price. But I am getting it at the best price. So you know what I'm talking. But am I really ruining the market? No, I'm just making the market more efficient. That's about it. And you know what? A year, 2 years, 3 years after COVID, what happened was that a lot of the traditional businesses started going online. They started having websites. Middlemen are getting removed every single day now. Exactly my prediction from the get-go.
So you're saying importers are becoming retailers as well?
Exactly what is happening in China, in Japan, in Singapore. So that's how I got my supplies. And I work with a transportation company. Do you know what the transportation company's got that I don't have? Data. Because they deal with so many retailers, right? They got data. A year after COVID, we met up for tea, lunch, whatsoever. They told me that 50% of the online retailers for groceries already closed down. 50% survive. And we are top one or top two in the data. So when I found out that 50% closed down and I survived, I was not happy about the 50% closing down. I was more happy about me, like, sustainability and longevity. So I win the game in the long run. Then that's the moment I know that even COVID ended, we might not be as big as we were during COVID. As long as we stick to it, survive in the game, we can always come back on. That was the belief all along. So yeah, that's how I got my supplies. It is actually very much similar to how I got my workers. Very similar how I got my workers and how I got my offers. You know the supplies because you grew up in the food industry. If you know all the big boys, right, you will know which spot is the best for food industry. Right. So it's not that hard for me to find office, but to be very frank, it's actually really easy to find offices in COVID because there's so many people who are not renting anymore. Yeah, there's no market rate. Really interesting time that we're living in. Yeah. Whereas workers, not that hard anyways. A lot of people are just firing people. I guess the only people that was spending was like the glove people, the healthcare people, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think the industries that were spending could actually take in all the people that got fired.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I know a few friends that,
Okay.
need a job, referral, this and that. Brought them on, 3 workers, doing a 9 to 5. Guess what happened? I got COVID. But things were not that bad because if I got COVID, I'm doing the marketing side of things, I'm doing the operational side of things, I'm doing the accounting side of things, but I'm not doing the production side of things. So the workers can still do productions. I love Malaysia, bro. I got COVID, was meant to stay at home for 14 days, but on the 13th day, I went to KKM to get discharged. I got discharged a day earlier. Thank God I went back to my office as my workers were like producing goods, right? What's the worst thing? They got COVID. All 3 of them. I was wearing a white shirt, Zoom call in the morning with my RHB, senior managers, CSO, this and that, whatsoever. And then I would go down to learn how to use the machine to cut the meat, to package the meat. I'm not kidding you.
In your formal attire.
A formal attire. And
Legendary, bro.
yes. And
Wow.
with the transportation company, right? Fun fact, the transportation company was not that reliable at that time as well because they just started off. So a lot of times we have to deliver on our own because we can't just say to the customer that, oh, you know what? I'm not going to deliver it because I struggle to get it done, get it delivered. So forget about it. No, we can't do that because we have to retain the customers, right? So which means that we always have to try to fulfill the orders as quick as possible with the best service. Bro, like, I was driving from Setialam to Cheras to Subang to, yeah, bro. Like,
Oh my God.
do you know during COVID, all the big platforms were fighting each other, right? Do you know like how much they charge for delivery?
Less than 10.
Yeah, you're right. 7 ringgit from Setialam to Cheras back to Subang. Of course, I planned my route, but still, bro, 7 ringgit, that was tough life. And I would deliver at night. So I'll wake up in the morning, go to work, right? Attend the meetings in my white shirt, okay? Jump into the production room, produce.
Oh my God. That's
But
it's
bro, like,
legendary,
I'm
bro.
not a superhero. I did not have the balls to do marketing because at that point I was like, yeah, you know what, just hold the sales for a bit
Yeah.
until my stuff came back. Stuff came back. Then only then I went heavy on the marketing.
Right.
And that's when we achieved our first 100k, 150k per month. Yeah, that's what happened during COVID.
How much did you have to fork out in capex? Capital expenditure, your initial investments, so your rental, I assume you had to pay upfront, your supplies, your food supplies, your vacuum packages, your equipment, and also your OPEX, paying your employees. For the first 6 months, how much do you think you spent? Just a ballpark.
Okay, let's do the
figure.
math. Let's do the math because I know that is very important for young people that are watching
Yeah.
because they want to know, right? Realistic or not realistic, all right? Now this is not realistic, but at that point it was realistic because it was COVID. You can get rental around
You said 1.1, right? You
Yeah,
said
yeah,
1.1.
700 square feet
Okay.
for 1.1k.
Wow.
So let's say you do 6 months.
Yeah.
Tied in 6.6. Make sense? All right. Now machineries, you're gonna go in, talk to auntie. Good luck talking to auntie. You don't need that, trust me. Go in, talk to auntie, get 3, 4, 5, 6 machineries. Let's assume that every machine, every freezer that you get is around 1 to 2k, and you spend around
Let's say
like
10K.
10k. Can get a bit less, like 8k, but yeah, you know what?
Okay, so
6.6.
let's say 8K, so 15K.
15k, yeah, 6.6 plus 8, 14.6. Okay. In order to hire the staff, right? I don't even know if I should say this, but it could be at that point Malaysia hadn't had the minimum wages thing. Assuming 2 or 2.5k.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Per person.
Per person.
That's not bad though.
Not bad at all, because they don't have any tissue education, so that's why they only do
Yeah.
productions. See what I'm saying? I'm the one doing accounting. the
Bro,
one
but
doing
that's quite a lot. If you're paying 3 people 2.2K.
Correct. So which means that I have to make, which is 20k already. But supplies, you can always do credit terms.
Okay. So I'll pay
Sell
you back.
first.
I'll pay you back once I've sold the products, and they were okay with that.
It was small volume to begin with, so it was okay.
Okay.
Test run, right?
Okay.
It was small volume to begin with, so that's how I roll.
You said the vacuum packages didn't cost that much.
No. That one vacuum bag like that would cost like 30 cents.
Okay.
So if you bought in a very low volume, it wouldn't cost that much.
Probably 20 to 30K in the first couple of months.
Yeah, do it. But if you do it now, it's gonna be more expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, because the rental, the machineries, that would take up a way bigger chunk.
Okay. How long did it take for Maison Billions to be profitable? Actually, before that, why Maison Billions?
This is a very good question. So, there's a misconception in the Malaysian market right now when it comes to a lot of different types of food. Let me break it down for you. Okay, let's say the pork products and the beef products. So in Malaysia, people always think that when it comes to frozen food, right, frozen is always the leftovers, because back in the days, Malaysia did not start off as a very rich nation. We are the descendants of immigrants. Okay, they came from India, China, so everyone was rationing. Right? Food rationing was a big thing, and whatever you can't finish, you freeze it and save it for a rainy day later on. Right. So frozen food has always been thought as not as good as fresh food, right? But imported food is all frozen. So the reason why I name it as Maison Billions is because Maison in French means the house. Billions means premium. It's the house of premium, because billions, right? So I'm trying to get the customer to understand that even though we sell frozen food, they are not leftovers, because the world does not function like that anymore. Why? Canada, Denmark, Netherlands, they have such big producing capacity. They can cater to the whole world, which they do. So as soon as they're done storing, what they do is they will allocate that part, freeze it immediately. They have a very advanced technology to freeze it within 15 minutes.
Wow.
And then they'll it's called, I can't remember the name of it. It's called something hydro or something like that. They freeze it within 15 minutes, not exposed to air, put it into the containers, ship it to Malaysia, Indonesia, China, Japan. Because Canada is big, Netherlands and Denmark's got strong technology to produce so much to cater to the whole world. So frozen food is not leftover. It's not. That's outdated. That's wrong. So the reason why I have to come up with a name to reinforce the fact that the brand is premium, because I'm trying to fight against the traditional norm of people thinking that frozen food is leftovers. So Maison, house.
Why is that important
Billions,
to you?
because I strongly believe that if you listen to a message, right, one time every single day for like 30 days, for 60 days, that will change your view. Even though you don't think so, that will change your view. Like, for instance, I have great confidence in my products. When people buy from Maison Billions, they eat my products, frozen food, right? After consuming it for 30 times, 60 times, the message, right, is being sent to them 60 times, 30 times in their head. They will now believe that the frozen products from my brand, Maison Billions, is truly premium. So that's why the name is very important, because the name is a constant reminder, you see it? So a lot of the times, businesses, they don't even sell the business, they sell a trademark, because the trademark is the name, and the name is the one that carries the weight. So I'm trying to achieve that. That's why it's very important for me.
I love that. So how long did it take for you to be profitable?
To be very honest with you, timing was really everything. I was put in the right spot. First month we were making 10k, no problem. Right. Within the third month, do you remember at that time when everyone was like making fun of the Prime Minister because we're doing like 20k, 30k COVID cases per day, which was the peak. Before that, the highest was like 3k, 6k, and then in 2021 it went up to like 20k per day, and everyone really did not want to go out. That was literally July. I started my company operation in May. That happened in July. Revenue on one platform alone, 125, 128k.
Wow.
Across all platforms, above 150k. bro, like, you don't understand. It went from 10K to that. And I was looking at it, I was like, damn, bro, like, with my profit margin and all that, my dopamine receptor was getting fried because I was making my yearly salary in a month.
Wow.
Can you believe it? That was the moment I realized, okay, dopamine receptor fried. There's no going back. You can't go back. How can you go back now? You can't go back. Once you tasted that, once you've seen that, you see the numbers. The numbers are, bro. I'm telling you
Numbers don't lie.
there are things that the numbers can do to your head. You won't understand until the numbers did it to your head. Then you understand what I'm talking about. Like I'm not a gambling addict, right? But they are, when I look at the numbers, I was just like, oh my God, like I had to screenshot it. I still keep it on my phone until today.
Maybe let's pull it out, bro.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, bro.
Never done
Let's
it
do it,
before,
bro. Let's do it. I still have it.
In case there's anyone who is being skeptical out there.
Nah, bro.
But what were your profit margins like?
For food, it's pretty standard. So for food, because we can do it a bit cheaper because of the, I know the way to
direct from
importers.
importers.
Yeah, exactly right. Farm to plate thing, right? But at the end of the day, in order to cover all the operational stuff, right, you still have to charge around 30, 35. So just do 1/3. Okay. So whatever number you see, right, 1/3 of it is essentially the profit.
Okay. So 100K, maybe you profit to like 30K.
Yeah, but it also depends on how well you run the company. Because some people don't run the company that well. They're essentially losing a lot of money. Give me a second. Just need to scroll. Like I said, bro, this is 5 years ago. But it's here. Okay, here we are.
Just bring it all the way in. Let it zoom in. Let's focus.
Sales 128K. 30 days.
Fuck.
And look at the date.
Let me see that shit now, bro.
22nd of August 2021.
May, June, July. Wow, 3 months after.
128 sales. This on Shopee alone. 1.3K orders. 30 days, right? From 23rd of July to 21st of August 2021.
Wow.
Yeah. So that number is essentially telling me that in 30 days, I made what I would have made in 365 days. Bro, like, it was stimulating, bro. It was ecstasy, bro. Like, that's the moment I realized.
Did you tell you that? Like, who do you share this with?
Oh, bro, I shared it to the whole world. I'm kidding. No, but I couldn't, like,
CNN.
I couldn't hold it in, bro.
I can understand
bro,
it.
like, I was a 23-year-old. I've never seen.
Bro,
Like, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to my own doing, I never seen like 6 figures. Like, I mean, yeah, I've seen 6 figures. 6 figures, like, bank transaction for buying houses, things like I've seen it before, but that's not my own doing. But with my own doing, my name to it, that was the first time ever I saw it. I was like, damn, bro, like that hit proper good. So yeah,
This was just via Shopee, right?
buy Shopee.
120K plus, and you said 200-300K across all the platforms. What were the other platforms?
Oh no, at that point it was not 200-300K. Today we're doing like 300K per month.
Okay.
All the platforms were Lazada, Grab, Supply Bunny. A few little ones as well, I can't remember.
What's
Happy
the last
Fresh, Supply Bunny is all grocery related.
Okay.
We used to do a lot of platforms, and then we shrunk it down to just 4 platforms now because we're trying to.
So what are your platforms right now?
Shopee, Lazada, our official website, and Grab.
Okay.
And you can come to our shop. One in Subang, one in Puchong. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, guys, check it out.
Yeah.
Maison Billions on Google.
Maison Billions, 2 names. Yeah. We just opened up the Puchong one last week.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
congrats, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Have you done the launch and stuff?
No, not yet. We just tested it for 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah, today's
Bigger?
Yeah.
Is it big?
Smaller. I'm trying to do 2 different concepts because we might go down to franchising down the track. So I want to do a smaller concept, which means that the buy-in will be lower. So it's more friendly towards, like retired people that wants to get into traditional businesses. Because I know.
How do you think about that, bro?
I mean,
It's a smart idea.
You always have to keep thinking, right? You have one flagship, which includes all the things, right? And then you do a small one with your best-selling product. So you really do the data for them. Okay, you really do the data for them. And I know all the people are not that open-minded to go into very new businesses like today. You get fintech, crypto, AI. So we're offering traditional businesses smaller, lower buy-in for retired people. I mean, yeah. Let's see. We still got to run it for a year for us to see if it's profitable. But I have great confidence.
What's the capex for a new store?
The new store, okay, the first store is around 900 square meters. Not square meters, square feet. Renovation and everything will be like 200 to 300K. You also have to get freezers. Okay, here's the thing with the freezers, right? You can get good grades like Japanese, or you can get like not that great stuff, you know. So we got really good freezers because we want to keep our products in a very good condition. So the freezer be around 100 plus and 200 something K renovation, 100 plus freezer, and then you have to bring the stock in. With the supplies, up to you. You want to do credit, you can do credit. This human relationship is how we perform. Then you pay for the power, the water bill every single month, rental. That's how it works. Second store, smaller, 300 square feet, right? Smaller.
Oh wow.
But consists the smaller shop consists of all our best selling products, right? In order to make all of that happen, including freezer and everything, like around 200k. It's around 200k. You see a difference?
Yeah.
Okay. When I talk to a retired person in the 60s, in the 50s, they want to do something. They finally got the fund to do something. 500k, 600k is very not friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas 200k is a fun project. So here's the thing. I gotta
Understand.
think about that as well.
Love
Yeah.
that. How many different suppliers do you work with, importers?
It constantly changes all the time because we are always looking for good supplies, right? Because now, okay, back in the days we were doing just raw materials, right? Now we're pivoting into like marinated goods, also like dim sum and stuff like
Why?
that. Because let's be real, the younger generation are getting lazier and lazier. With raw materials, right? You can cook it with 1,000 ways, 1,000 cuisines out there. You know what I'm saying. But the thing is that in order to make the raw materials good, you have to marinate it and cook it at the right time. You want something that you can just get it done within half a day, not half a day, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You have to get those marinated, packaged goods just in and out like that. So yeah, we go into that market as well, but we won't use our own brand. We won't use our own brand. Reason being that Maison Billions is premium, grade A, certified. Okay, you cannot deny the fact that marinated stuff, right? It's got other things in it. Okay.
Preservatives and stuff.
Yeah, they're open about it. Like, I mean, guys, don't get terrified. Go to a grocery store, pick up everything, read the back. It's everything. Like you just don't read it. Once you read it, you know. Like you know what I mean. So we don't really want to relate our brand to that, associate ourselves with that. Do you know what I mean?
So that's sort of like a distribution business, right? Like there's another brand who gets their supplies from somewhere, they marinate it themselves, they supply it to you, and then you just like put it on the shelf.
That's
for them,
it.
Get a
Basically,
margin.
that in my shop. That's it. Basically, that in my shop. Yeah, that's it. So when shoppers come in, they got more choices. That's about it.
Understand.
Yeah.
Going back to the earlier question, you were saying you're always looking for the best suppliers.
Yeah. Yeah, we're always looking for the best suppliers. Why is that? Because there are always people calling us up saying that, hey, look, try my products, better pricing. Competition is
So now
always
it's
there.
inbound, bro. Like it used to be outbound. You used to call suppliers and but now people are coming to you. That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, bro, I'm not here to brag, but when you type in Maison Billions, right, you'll see like a few pages already. So if a salesperson is really hardworking enough, the salesperson will find me and chat to me about
Understand.
it and say, hey, try out dim sum, try out marinated lamb chop, whatsoever. Sometimes when it comes to better pricing, sometimes when it comes to more like friendlier service, why does the service matter so much? Because sometimes the products could be not as good and you need to do exchange, you need to coordinate essentially. So yeah, if they do provide some sort of better value, we could always consider. So that is always the case right now. I'm always getting like people to come into me and say, hey, I want to sell you this, I want to sell you that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that happens all the time, like daily basis, to be honest. But yeah, we're constantly changing suppliers. But if I were to give you a rough number, it would be around like 15 to 20 now, bro.
Wow.
15 to 20 now, yeah.
And do you have one supplier for each type of meat, or how does it work?
So in Malaysia, you got halal and non-halal.
Okay.
And also you have premium market and mass market. So you could, I mean, if you really want to categorize everything, you can categorize everything, but I'll just give you the basic categories, right? So premium mass market, for example, chicken goes by 10 ringgit per kilo. Beef can go up to like 90 for certain parts. So you can see that, right? 10 ringgit, 90 ringgit is big. So yeah, who I buy beef from is they're one of the largest importers, as always, okay? So they don't sell chicken. So I go to other people to buy chicken, right? But they do sell lamb, but they can't sell pork because they're halal. We are not, like pork will be non-halal. See what I'm saying? And then you got people that are not doing so much raw materials because they make more money from OEM, like marinating products, making sausages and stuff like that. So now those are another category. You see what I'm saying? More OEM.
So the guys who marinate are the OEMs as well.
Yeah. So basically, if you have a factory doing like all
Okay,
sorts of things,
okay,
right,
okay,
you're
okay.
more open to labor work. You're
Okay.
basically profiting from labor work.
Okay.
Whereas raw material, you're profiting from trading.
Okay.
You see, the nature of business
Okay.
matters a lot. Right?
Right.
How much time you want to put into
Right.
it, yeah, matters a lot.
Right.
It is basically the whole game.
Okay.
And then you get a lot of people that do canned food as well. See, canned food is different because canned food lasts for a long time, and canned food they don't need to be stored in a frozen condition. See what I'm saying? All different. And we also have the bakute spice powder because our customers do buy them too to make,
Yeah, like
certain
a one-stop
cuisines.
shop, right? You can just get everything from your store rather than buying.
Yeah, statistically speaking, we're trying to find the strongest correlation between all products in order to make it as convenient as possible for our customers.
So how are you going about doing that, identifying that?
Try and error. Talking to your customer is very important. Every single time when your customer walks in, you talk to your customer, you ask your customer where she's from. Trust me, soon or later, you'll find out the best location to open up the third store. That's how I decided on my second store. Because I realized that a lot of, let me bring some value to the audience as well. I realized that a lot of people...
That's why you've been doing this past hour, bro.
Yeah,
Bringing value. You've just been bringing value, but yeah.
Only better value, only better,
Yeah.
bro. We're only going up.
Yeah.
So a lot of my customers have been complaining about one thing, and that is toll. They're not really happy about paying toll. Because, okay, here's the thing. From Damansara, TDI, PJ to Subang, there's no toll. But there's so many options in Damansara, TDI, and Subang. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, even though from Puchong to Subang is super close, it's 5 minutes away. That's
You have to
toll.
go through toll.
Yeah, but Puchong, right, is linked to Old Kang Road, Bukit Jalil, and Seri Kembangan, no toll. So which means that if you open another shop
Right.
past that toll, you're catering to all four markets because people are very particular about tolls. And tolls are massive. Like, guys, don't think that 3 ringgit, 2 ringgit is nothing. It's massive. Realize this, find out about this. Everywhere there is a toll, right? Once you pass that toll, you realize the culture is a bit different. What do people in Puchong, Seri Kembangan, Bukit Jalil, and Old Kang Road have in common? They speak Mandarin. What do people in Subang, PJ, TDI, Damansara have in common? They speak English. When you put a toll in that location, right? Years later, the culture will change.
Wow.
That's what it is. People don't realize that. But for people like me, we have to look after the consumer behavior. We have to know.
Wow.
Yes, we have to know. So that's what I'm saying.
That's value, bro.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Every single time a person walks into your shop, you talk to a person, get as much data as you are. Bro, you can ask a stupid question. What sauce do you use to cook it with? She probably doesn't even remember. It's like, oh, yeah, I bought it from Jaya Grocer. It's just the yellow brand. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, the more you talk, the more you know. Because the best way to learn is actually from your customers.
Yeah, I agree. So you know how you mentioned that a lot of your inspiration came from the efficient markets in China, Hong Kong, Singapore,
Yeah.
Tokyo, etc.
Yeah.
Right? How the importers are essentially retailers. Is that something you are looking at, like vertically integrating
100%.
into the future? So importing yourself.
100%. And it's not just that as well. Like, I'm going to make a prediction here because what's the fun of it if I don't predict a few things, right? Okay.
Let's do
Okay,
it.
here's another thing. My father is in importation. Yes, I want to do it vertically, go all the way down to retailers because that's what's happening in China. That's what's happening in Hong Kong. Okay, let me ask you a question. In Hong Kong, people are having roast pork, roast duck, and stuff like that. We're having roast pork, roast duck, stuff like that as well in Malaysia, right? What cuisine is it? You don't know. Like, I don't know if it's Malaysian. I don't know if it's Hong Kong. Why?
Yeah.
Because we all share the same root. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people in Malaysia, right, share very similar roots to people from India, people from Hong Kong, China, stuff like that. Okay. The truth is, how they behave is essentially telling you that down the track we are gonna be going towards that direction. So yes, retailers will be importers. That is my strongest belief. And here's another thing. Do you know convenience stores? Massive convenience stores, right? Like Jaya, like Village. When you look at all grocery stores out there, right, you realize that grocery stores provides one thing, which is convenience.
Yeah.
Grocery stores don't make money from every section.
Yeah.
Certain sections lose money, certain
Yeah.
sections make money.
Right.
But overall, they make money,
Right.
which is how many percent based on your luck,
Right.
based on your capability and stuff like that. Okay, but do you know that from years ago, our parents' generation, right, like how affordable something is, the affordability it's gone down by 4 times now. Like wage gap, I don't want to go into details like wage
Purchasing
gap.
power.
Yeah, purchasing power essentially, okay, it's gone down by 4 times. Okay, how do grocery stores make money? For the profitable ones, they make a larger profit to cover the non-profitable ones, okay, in order to provide convenience. Now, when you go to grocery stores to buy meat, is always more expensive than the butchers. Always
Of course,
more
they need to make their
expensive.
margins as well, right?
That's correct. Okay. But back in the days when Malaysia was booming, right? People were looking for convenience. They don't mind paying a bit extra money to buy at the grocery store. But here's nothing. Down the track, things are getting less and less affordable. It's a lot harder for people our age to own a house, to own a car compared to our parents. It's a fact. We're not complaining. We're just acknowledging the fact. Okay. Now, when it comes to cooking, cooking is essential. Like cooking, eating is essential. You need it to survive. Number one, ruin the game, don't die. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you so now do you think down the track, right? For people in our generation to go shop to do shopping, would they go to grocery stores to pay extra for convenience? Do they have the luxury to do so, or would they go to specialized shops to pay lower? Because the specialized shops do not have to care about the non-profitable parts of things. They forgo convenience, right, in order to make meat reasonable price. Which one is the future?
The latter.
You can't save the wage
For
gap,
sure.
bro. You
Yeah.
cannot save the wage gap. I'm telling you, the
Yeah.
wage gap. You can't save the purchasing, the declining purchasing power right now is what you cannot save it. Even the government can't save
Bro,
it.
how do you think? I love how you don't just think about the business in itself. You think about it on the micro level, but also on the macro level, how these other
Yeah.
adjacent topics also can affect and influence the dynamics of your industry. Would you say it's because you're on the right tables, you have the right people around you, you're immersed in the
100%.
industry, or do you
100%.
read a lot? Like generally, how do you keep up to date and how do you go about ideating new ideas?
100%, bro. Like I'm telling you, my dopamine receptor is fried. I can't have pointless conversations. Like I need to have a conversation. Like when I sit down with my people that I know.
I hope this is
older men.
stimulating conversation, bro.
Sorry.
I hope this is stimulating your dopamine.
Beyond. Yeah, don't sell yourself short like that, bro. It's beyond. So yeah, like I can't put myself in a group where like we're having meaningless pointless
Yeah.
conversation, right? Don't really care about all of these things, right? If we talk about it, it has to be about where the world is going towards, right? Like I believe that everyone know, like, gold prices gone up by so much. To be honest, I only learned about it last week that they always wanted to go back to the gold standard, but they couldn't. It's too far gone. So what that means is that when they lost control, they can't go back to where they wanted to go. They could only let it, let the cancer spread, right? So now, what makes you think the purchasing power is ever going to go up? They lost control from a long time ago. So Malaysia is also capitalism. Malaysia is also friends with China and America. We are not getting out of this mess alone. We're not. So things are only going to be more and more not affordable. It's already happening, bro. It's already happening. Our parents were doing so much less, making so much more compared to.
You think so?
Certain areas, yes. Like for instance, how would you get a job in our parents' generation when it comes to an IB, and how would you get a job today? Yes, the comparison is quite clear. The difference is pretty.
Probably also because more and more people are getting educated, getting tertiary education, the degree and stuff, right? Last time
Absolutely.
that was more scarcity. It was
Absolutely. Essentially, the requirement back in the days and the requirement today are very different. So yeah, that's what I thought about as well. Like, I want to do a specialized meat shop to bring down the prices in order to benefit.
Cool. So now you said you have 4 sales channels, right? How much do you guys make last year? Top line.
Make around 2-3 million,
Okay.
close to 3 retail.
And how will you break that 2 to 3 million by your sales channels?
Okay, here's a very interesting thing. Malaysia is still a very traditional market. The physical shop is going to overtake the online. We were doing online for 4 years, right? So the online segment was definitely a lot stronger than the physical store when we started off, right? But the physical store is catching up so quick. People love to touch the meat. Sounds wrong, I know, but yeah. But trust me, it's catching up now. I would say with our second store open, soon or later, physical stores will take up more of the chunk compared to online. But as of right now, it's 50-50.
Okay.
And when it comes to Shopee, Lazada, I'll still say Shopee's got a slight edge. Shopee will do around like 60-70%
Okay.
of most things, because Shopee is very good at doing promotions.
60-70% of the online segment.
That's right.
50%.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's right. And Lazada will do around like 10 on Grab, 10 on official website.
Okay.
The reason why we're not doing so well on the official website is because we don't give out a lot of incentive like Shopee and Lazada do. Shopee and Lazada are essentially like grocery stores. They have a lot of segments, so they can give incentive into like other types of products as well. Like let's say you buy pork from me, you buy salmon from me. Somehow you got free coins that you can buy a hairdryer. I can't bring you a hairdryer, bro.
Understand.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying. So, but that's why I'm trying to grow the physical shop. I'm trying to go down to like 15-20 shops in Klang Valley and get a valuation and understand, get some sort of acknowledgement for my work. That's my goal.
On a day-to-day operational basis, what are your biggest drivers of cost? Manpower?
Manpower is one thing. Here's the thing: it could be the same business, but does not guarantee the same efficiency. When the efficiency is not there, okay, manpower, of course, when you are selling more, when you're producing more, you need more people, more machinery, so it's quite common. And you can look at that as a data, like, okay, my sales is triple, I need more machines, I need more people, which makes sense. As long as your profit margin does cover it, everything's sweet. But efficiency means that if you are not very efficient when it comes to, the stock keeping and stuff like that, right? You're paying a lot for rental. You're paying a lot for rental because the cold storage, right? All of these things, essentially properties, you have to pay rental for them. If your in and out is very, very quick, very, very smooth, and with so many MOQs, so many types of products, right? The more efficient you are, right, the less likely you have to pay extra rental for the stock keeping. Does it make sense? Same business, different efficiencies. Do you see what I'm saying? Same, like we could have two different names, right? Same nature of business, two different types of efficiencies. The cost would be very different. So the world is getting more and more competitive nowadays. We have a lot of systems to keep track of the stock, but who is in charge of the system? Human, and human make errors. Making 5% errors and 10% errors are big differences. They're two. They're two.
So do you store your meat in-house as well in your offices, or you got a separate warehouse facility?
We do have two cold storages as of right now, but the thing is that we store what we're going to be selling in the very near future, like let's say a month, 2 months, because we're working with importers, right? So we don't stock up a lot.
Okay, so it's a core rental space.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. That's correct.
Okay.
We have two.
So you're not just renting out the space where your physical store, you're also renting out like a storage facility.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
does that cost a lot?
Costs around the same for the shop, but it's a lot smaller in terms of like the space. But the thing is that it's not ideal, because if you could do just the shop and have very little like backup items, and to make the in and out as smooth as possible, you don't need the cold storage.
What would that look like? What would a perfectly smooth in and out look like?
Okay,
from importer, from the port to customer's plate.
Okay, so every single product is different. Certain products are better selling, certain products are not as good. So of course, it's your job to do the homework to find out what is hot selling, right? Okay, so assuming that in the whole shop, half of them are very hot selling, half of them are not very hot selling, and it will get better over time. I'm just giving you an example, okay? The very hot selling ones, the in and out is very quick.
Okay.
What we need now is to collect data. The truth is, in our generation, data is money. A lot of people are not realizing that. If you have data, you're sweet. So if you have enough data to know that in this month, this is the amount that will be out, right? Okay. Every time you repurchase to buy, right, it will come in at the right timing. Then you don't need extra storage. Do you see what I'm saying? But if you're not confident, you buy a few, then you need extra storage.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? And with data, you can also know which one's slow selling. You remove them, and
So
then
you don't
no
need to
longer
spend the unnecessary storage fees for them because
That's correct. And here's another thing as well. If you run a big corporation, say your sample data is massive enough, do you know what you can do? You can even create extra data to find out a correlation between every product. So you know that if this person is buying the cup, most likely she's buying the tea. See what I'm saying? If you have all of these correlations, stuff like that, then you will know exactly what products to keep. If everything is efficient, and this can be applied to all the big grocery stores, but of course, in the perfect universe, we don't live in a perfect universe, right? With human errors do exist. China errors are still a thing. It's not a thing in the past yet. It's still very much a thing in current times. So inefficiency is a pain that I believe a lot of businessmen go through. So when you ask me what is the major cost, I would say is that if you're inefficient, you can't be in the game for long.
Okay, the biggest cost is inefficiency, and what helps that is data. What helps clear that is data.
And what time is needed for data too.
Yeah, makes sense.
Time is needed for data as well. Yeah.
And in terms of your sales, right, are they seasonal, cyclical, or you mentioned 300k a month?
All the time. 300k is on average, right? But the differences are not that big. It's not.
So let's say right now during Chinese New Year, right, and then you got Raya coming up as well. Does it spike? Is there a spike?
Well, I'll give you an example. Okay. A lot of people ask me that question. I just answered my stuff yesterday as well. So yeah, here's another value. Okay, for Chinese New Year's, right? Chinese people don't usually spend a lot before Chinese New Year's because do you know in China when it comes to Chinese New Year's, right? People that's first day, second day, or up until the 12th day, right? So they usually become more lenient when it comes to spending during those 12 days. So what we're seeing right now is the preparation. They'll prep for those 12 days. They'll stock up for those 12 days. Do you see what I'm saying? But when it comes to December, what usually happens around December is Christmas. Do we celebrate Christmas in Malaysia? Not really, but the world celebrates Christmas. What does it mean? In December, people get their bonus. They're more lenient. December is like Friday. So, I'm relaxing, having fun. People buy a lot of things in December. They go on a lot of trips in December. I don't know if you realize that. For Chinese New Year, it's more very family orientated, just the 12 days. So when you ask me questions like, oh, do people spend more during December or during Chinese New Year's? Bro, like Chinese New Year is a lot shorter compared to the whole December period. But if you look at it across the 30 days in December, I see that they spend around the same amount of money. So for Chinese New Year's, they will spend a lot for those 12 days. Boom, sharp decline. Yeah. And then before that, let's say this year, Chinese New Year is around the middle of February, right? You won't see any like intense movement, like crazy movement on the 1st or 2nd of February. But you start seeing it now because they prep for that specific period. Do you see how consumer behaviors work? And here's another trick. This year is the first time ever that there's a huge gap, quite a huge gap between Chinese New Year's and Christmas. So you see the consumer behavior going down for a bit because people are saving up for the big days, you know. But back then, when Chinese New Year's were only 20 days, 25 days away from Christmas, you see a very straight line spending like consumer, like, you know, habit because people are still celebrating. Christmas over, but Chinese New Year is coming anyways. Even the malls, they can't be quick enough to change the decorations, right? But this year, with a longer period, you see a dip, and you would realize that the way people celebrate Christmas and Chinese New Year's are very different. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, these 2 months bring in 300k each. CNY will look more like 70% from the 12 days that they're celebrating,
Right.
all right? And 30% the rest.
Okay, and Christmas is more evenly spread out.
Exactly. So everything is seasonal. Everything's seasonal. And don't forget that when it comes to Thanksgiving, when it comes to Christmas, that's a lot of turkey. That's a lot of turkey. You'll be laughing to be selling more than two pieces of turkey in June. so yeah, that this kind of things as well. Like, but that's why I'm saying like your data is extremely important.
What's been your highest revenue grossing month?
I would say around like 350 to 400.
Okay.
Around the same.
So it's pretty consistent. Okay.
That's the thing about traditional businesses.
Okay.
We're not like Taiwanese
yeah,
where you saw like 2 million and all of a sudden you went down to like, we're not like that. Not like that. Yeah, which is one thing that I really like as well.
And in terms of your CAGR, your annual growth rate, so your top line, how much has it been? You know, you've been operating for close to 5 years now.
Yeah.
On average, and where do you forecast it? At what rate do you forecast it growing within the next 3 years as well?
It will grow a lot. I'll be honest with you. The growth rate that we experienced last year, no one could have thought of, because during COVID we were doing 150, 200, right? Okay, after COVID, no shame to it, we actually dipped all the way down to like 20k to 40. See, I did not have a good time all the time. I like, it's not like, oh, I started this business and all of a sudden I'm stress free. I'm just living my life. No, we also had like rainy days.
Okay.
So it went down to like 20 something to 40 something. Okay, then we had a problem. Now we have a problem.
Why was it going down? Because people are going out to grocery stores.
Consumer behavior, same thing. Okay. Like when COVID ended, everyone could not wait to spend money. The biggest sin at that time is to stay at home and save money. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we know that was the consumer behavior as well, and that's when we link up with Jaya Grocer. Then we started working with Jaya Grocer. I know I had to diversify, I had to hedge against the previous model. Okay? Now, here's another thing. We're now in 2040. Like I said, right? As long as you're in the traditional line and you believe in sustainability and longevity, right? You know that it will go up. But you need time. Time can either be your enemy or your friend. So yeah, it has to be your friend. So at that time we approached Jaya Grocer. We spread into Jaya Grocer to hedge against our previous model to diversify. All right. Then yeah, we
How did you pitch to them at that point? And when was this? So 2022 maybe?
2022. Yeah, end of 2021.
I'm always curious, as a business in its nascent stages of establishing itself, you're still, less than a year of being in the market. How do you pitch to a big retailer like Jaya Grocer?
The thing about Jaya Grocer is that they do have a system to get the best price. I'm not. Yeah, it's not really my place to go into how they do it. Here's the thing: there is essentially very zero risk for them to take on a new product if you prove results. But if you have never proven any sort of like results, right? Them taking on your products would be a very risk-seeking behavior. But if you have proven results, they could always take a bit of a product and try it out. I'm not saying Jaya Grocer looked at me and be like, oh, I'm going to give you this amount, that amount straight away. Jaya Grocer, the amount that Jaya Grocer has taken from me grew every single year as well. So it really is about the presence, like the presence, the awareness, the growth, it's very stable. Stabilization. I'll use that word, it's stabilization across the years. That's how I pitch to Jaya Grocer. Jaya Grocer has seen the results. It's a lot
What
easier.
exactly were the results? Like, of course, I'm sure like usually these retailer relationships, right, is built over a point in time. You don't meet them. You don't. I assume you didn't meet them, and then you sign a contract by the end of it, maybe a couple of months, right?
No, it's not a contract couple of months. Like once you start,
Yeah.
right? They will like you.
No,
once
as
you
in the talking stages before they're like,
Oh yeah,
okay,
months,
let's work.
months,
Yeah,
months, months, yeah,
exactly.
months.
So, but if you were to summarize it, you mentioned earlier that the proven results. What were the results that you had shared with them?
The very cold world that we're living in, the very truth is that people only care about sales. Like a person can come to you to promise you the world saying that I will do marketing services for you to grow awareness or whatsoever, but the numbers will be a lot more convincing. The numbers essentially are sales. So for what we were getting during COVID, online platforms, this was before, this was around the time that Grab bought Jaya Grocer. So Jaya Grocer hadn't had a very strong online platform at that time as well. So when Jaya Grocer saw what we did, they were interested in our products because they know. Essentially, think about it. If you're Mr. Jaya Grocer, you look at this product. You know that people don't mind paying for it already. People don't mind buying already. Versus you looking at a complete new product, right? And then you don't know who wants them. Who wants them at all? Does Jaya Grocer, like as Mr. Jaya Grocer, do you have to go and take a new product to market to the world? You might have to. There's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, right? But the first product's been proven that people, like it's been proven to be liked by people, then it's easy.
So you're showing them the sales numbers, like this.
Oh,
How much
I
was
have to
making.
write a report. I have to show the chart. I have to show them. I have to disclose a lot of information to them as well in order for them to take me on because they're the big boys. I'm not a big boy. I was not a big boy yet. I mean, I'm still not a big boy, but yeah.
How did you reach out to them?
Through okay, so you know how we got sausages, this and that whatsoever, right? We have sausages. We have a lot of large importers. Somebody knows them. It's contacts of
But
contacts.
you're in touch.
Exactly.
And when they sell your products on their shelves, is it branded under Maison Billions or it's just your meat and then?
Every branch is run by different people. Sometimes we send it to them with our own packaging, but they will package it into Jaya Grocer. Reason being that the stuff have to prove that they're working anyway. So it really depends.
That's what I'm asking. So when you're pitching to them, you're showing them that okay, this is how much it's been selling. So but that's because of your brand, correct?
Correct.
And of course the quality and all those things. But the main thing is the brand. But if they are changing the packaging, then doesn't that defeat the purpose of working with you? You know what I mean?
That's correct. But they are confident in the quality of the product.
Okay.
Yeah, even though they changed the brand,
Quality,
the quality,
price.
yeah, the quality of the product is the same. So basically, essentially, what they think is that with the quality of product, we can do the same thing as well. They are confident in terms of that. So
And in terms of supermarket like Jaya Grocer, let's say they're buying chicken or beef from you, will they also buy chicken and beef from someone else?
yes,
They still will, right?
yes. So you know how when I was talking about how they have a way to find out the best prices, that's they got enough data. They got enough players to dump in
So
prices.
what
Yeah.
happens if they find someone else who is?
It's a cover. You will know because they'll stop buying from you for a while, and then you go to them and pitch them another price. Because most of the time when they stop buying the product from you, is either the product is no longer hot selling, but when it comes to traditional businesses, the products are always around, right? So the only way that they will leave your product is when the price is not good. So it's quite clear. And most grocery stores in Malaysia are bought up by PE firms. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah, Village Grocer and BIG, Ben's Independent Grocer.
Yeah.
They're owned by the same company.
Which PE firm?
Navis and stuff like that bought into grocery stores. Grab conglomerate bought into Jaya Grocer. Why is that? If you're betting on a nation's future, right, you buy the grocery store because that's the most concrete. What else? Restaurants are not concrete, bro. One could close down tomorrow and they'll not open up tomorrow, right? Like the most concrete resources in this world is essentially just raw material food. if you are PE, if you're a PE, if you're a big conglomerate, you want to bet on a nation's future. Let's say you think that Jakarta's got a strong future. Just buy the two biggest grocery stores and auto run it. That's what it is. It's gambling. It's gambling, not investing. Sorry, investing. I shouldn't use the word gambling, but yeah.
What do you mean order run it?
Because okay, let's say two grocery stores in Jakarta, right, become so big. It's proven that the way they run the grocery store can make things work. Okay, been there for years, been there for decades, good track record whatsoever, right? I want to bet on Jakarta's future because I know Jakarta is going to be a new thing. Hong Kong is dead, Japan is dead. I'm saying, yeah, Tokyo is dead, Hong Kong is dead. I want to bet on a new thing. The next thing, Jakarta. If people are getting richer in Jakarta, people are having higher purchasing power in Jakarta, grocery market will reflect it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that McDonald's will reflect it because they might prefer KFC. You don't know that. But when it comes to like,
Understand.
yeah, there you go. So that's
more
why
fundamental level.
So that's why PE capitalists love grocery
Didn't know that.
markets,
That's
yeah.
pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Who actually holds the powers in the food ecosystem today? Let's just focus on Malaysia. So you got your importers, your distributors, suppliers, retailers, and your importers are also your permit holders, right? Or do they have separate APs?
AP for food is no longer a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, Ismail Sabri era took away. Yeah.
So as an importer,
You apply for license to get it, and the license is more lenient. It's not called AP anymore, but it's still a license.
okay.
So in order to get the beef in, get lamb in, the production farms, right? The farms that produce it need to be approved by Malaysian government, which Malaysian government will go like time to time to check it out to make sure to approve them. And then the people with the license will import them. So that's how importers work. And then we from the very end going to consumers, we only need a business license that we will repackage all of their stuff because we don't. Let's say if we don't import ourselves, we don't need a license.
And how much?
We can also import ourselves to get the license to import ourselves. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
And how much are these licenses, and how frequently are they paid? Like on an annual basis, if you know. Let's say to bring pork in.
They change all the time.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, they change all the time, and the procedures vary. I could say to you right now it's 1 year, but someone else can get it quicker. Someone else can get it like later. So I don't want to give out false information.
And is it very detailed in the sense that pork leg, pork stomach, I need different licenses?
Oh no, not really. Not really. Because let's say these farms are approved on the government website. It will say already like this is for chill products, this is for frozen products, frozen parts. So it's pretty broad. So from there onwards, you already know that this production farm could potentially export to Malaysia with all of these products. So it's pretty clear. It's pretty black and white already to begin with.
Okay. So going back to what I was saying earlier, so the food ecosystem right now in Malaysia, you got importers, suppliers, distributors, and your customers, retailers and your customers, right? And these are all can be vertically integrated, which, as you alluded to before, is what you're working towards, and it's also the future, right? But if you were to take away one of these players from the ecosystem, which player, if you were to take them out, do you think would cause the entire market to collapse? Which means, in a sense, that maybe if you took out retailers, the importers would be able to adapt and quickly be able to learn how to be a retailer as well. But maybe if you took out the importers, retailers can't be importers. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So importers, distributors, suppliers, retailers, customers are always there. So from these four, which one do you think is the backbone of this food ecosystem?
Yeah, that's a very amazing question. Things are not as easy as the way it is. I'll explain to you why. When you look at the world today, when you look at a lot of businesses today, when I look at my competitors today, the first question I actually ask myself is that, is my competitor just Bob and Susan's butcher shop down the road, like a family-owned business? Or is my competitor a company that's owned by a large PE firm or conglomerate? Big difference. When you ask me, importers, distributors, retailers, who is more critical, influential in a way to disrupt the whole food chain if they were to go missing tomorrow? The truth is, let's imagine, okay, I'm inviting all the viewers to imagine with me as well, okay? Let's say you're an importer today, right? You've been doing importation all along in your life. And all of a sudden, right, the food retailers are gone, fully gone. Now you don't have, like 20 stores in KL, like for people to go in to buy meat products or whatsoever. But you have like 1 billion cash. It's not that hard to just open up 20. That's what big corporations in China, in the US do nowadays. They expand IPO valuation. Do you see that? The pattern is getting more and more apparent nowadays. Back in the days, Bob and Susan, right? Uncle Bob, Auntie Susan, When they open up the first butcher shop, they'll be like, oh, profit is coming in. Let's open up a second one, third one. That's properly family run. But it's very rare nowadays, extremely rare. So the retail shop that's being opened up by the importers, right, with a billion cash backing, right, will not be the same as Bob and Susan opening up first, second, third, fourth. Capital is everything. If you've got a bank financing you, if a bank comes in and say, Bob and Susan, do you know what? You're doing an amazing job. How about me giving you a lot of money to open a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth? It's a different game. Bob and Susan is still Bob and Susan. The business model is still very much the same, but now Bob and Susan's got a bank to back them up. Do you see what I'm saying? So now, let's say importers are gone and you're a retailer, right? Shit, I don't know how to do importation whatsoever. I can learn, right? But what's the risk when it comes to importation? You have to buy a large volume because the overseas producers do not really give a shit about you if you don't buy large volume. So now you have to buy a large volume. First of all, you need money, or you can do credit terms. But that thing, those products will be, let's say, from Denmark on the way for like months. Can you wait? Can you take on that risk with USD fluctuating, all of these things? Okay, with a lot of money, you can. With a lot of money, you can also afford trial and errors. Do you see what I'm saying? I feel like the nature of business that we are seeing nowadays, right, very extremely different compared to what we saw when we were younger. Back in the days, Bob and Susan will come out and say, I'm going to open a tire shop to sell tires, to fix cars, you know? But nowadays, when you go to like very advanced nations, a lot of companies just under big conglomerates, they are all different fronts, but same guy. That's what it is. Like when you're competing against somebody, right? Are you competing against somebody with unlimited cash flow, or are you competing against a small family? That's the thing. So I can't say retailers are in a better position than importers. I can't say that because if I see a retailer and that retailer is owned by some farm that's like massive, let's say Tyson Food or something, bro, it's not a normal retailer. You can get the importation done like in a month. If I look at the importation side of things and I see this guy's got 1 million ringgit cash backing him up, store, he can open up 12 stores in a year, as opposed to Bob and Susan try to run small business, doing one at a time. Very different. We don't really live in an era where starting a business means starting a business. We live in an era where big guys are constantly buying business. You have to know who you're fighting against. So that's what I'm saying. To make that question even better, a country like Malaysia and Singapore, right, is so dependent on foreign goods, especially when it comes to food, right? What can really wreck the whole dynamic that you described just then, right? Importation, distribution, retail. Okay, what could wreck the whole dynamic is not really any one of them. What happens if America goes into war tomorrow and every country just raise their food prices by 30% and we are so dependent on foreign goods? That could wreck us. That is what's so disruptive to the whole dynamic that we described. It's not so much about any of these players. Malaysia is a very neutral nation. We're friends with everyone, enemies with very little. But it is also concerning that if we're relying on so many nations when it comes to food.
Do you think that should change?
There's no wrong and right. Because if I say we definitely have to change, that also means that Singapore is doing it wrong. But Singapore is focusing so much on financial services and stuff like that, and it's growing as a nation. So
Okay, separate conversation altogether. Okay. So you said how data is very important in this business, right? Data gives you the information in terms of what are the best sellers, what have quick turnover, so that you can focus on operating a more efficient model, and those that are staying on the shelves for a bit too long, you can slowly phase them out as well, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely, yeah.
technology plays a role in that. But the other thing that you mentioned was in Malaysia, there is a huge middleman economy. There are two barriers that we need to overcome in order for us to, for our food supply market to be more efficient, to attain that level of China's, right? So one is the technology, one is the culture. But which one do you believe across these two plays a bigger role, the technology or the middleman culture, that is preventing us from reaching a more efficient market?
Technology will not be that big of a problem because there could be a lot of technology in this world, but it doesn't mean that consumers will always pick the most advanced one. Do you realize that at one point we just stopped adopting the latest technology? We feel like, for instance, when iPhone came out, iPhone was not the most advanced. There were a lot more, complicated products out there, right? And people refused to. So it's essentially, yes, technology can help farming a lot. Like in Europe, when it comes to farming, they do use like AI, they do use high-end, really high technology to look after the livestock and stuff like that. That is true. That is definitely happening. But the thing is that in order for technology to bring effects to the whole industry, what you need is that you need people to adopt that technology, to be okay using that. But put it this way, a lot of the effects from technology is not straight line. It's very much exponential. So when you look at an exponential graph towards the very end of advancement, you see that at any point the difference is massive, because exponential looks like this, right? Yeah. When you're at this point, the later stage, you realize that being just a little difference will bring you that much difference in terms of effects. Yeah. At one point, people are going to stop adopting. At one point, people will find it not convenient to adopt it. Matter of fact, it's very much.
Why?
Give an example. QR scan menu. It's been in Malaysia for like 6-7 years. People still complaining about it. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people still want physical menus. Why? Okay, back in the days, when you got QR scan for a lot of things, you feel like, oh, it's so convenient. True. But when you start using QR for everything, at one point there is going to be a point where I call it the point of reflection. People are just going to be like, there's too much technology, I don't want that. You get what I'm saying? Okay, with farming, yes, Europeans are doing a lot better farming than us when it comes to technology. That's true. So in order to bring that technology over here, first of all, the Malaysian farmers have to be very open-minded to adopt this technology to begin with. Okay. But in order to adopt this technology, that also means that you cannot hire as many farmers as possible. So there are a lot, the change is massive. It's how willing are you to adopt it? That's the number one thing. Because I could be wrong. When I was working with certain platforms like 4 or 5 years ago, when they were talking about online groceries, at a few points they were talking about as to how even if you launch this or that app in Malaysia, Malaysian people are less inclined to adopt compared to other nations. Jakarta,
Interesting.
like Jakarta or Singapore. That's the thing. Why is that culture? Maybe, perhaps. We don't know. We don't got data on that. So the first one is technology being a factor. Yes and no. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. What was the second point again?
Culture.
Culture.
The middleman business.
Oh, the middleman business. Okay, so
Essentially, what are the barriers preventing us, or that we would need to overcome in order to create a more efficient food supply market in Malaysia?
yeah. So the middleman business has been in Malaysia for the longest time. When you look at this dynamic, let's talk about it a bit more. Yeah. As I was talking about earlier, right? Importers will take on the risk because products have to be, on the way from Denmark for like, months. Fluctuations, international currencies, all these things, right? Big risk. But distributors, right? The middleman, they buy from you, right? Somebody else wants it for a higher price, they dump it to them. The risk is significantly lower. I'm not trying to belittle any businessman here, but what I'm saying is that the risk is not the same.
Right.
Okay, but no risk, no reward. Whereas retailers, right, they're doing so much marketing, they're showing people, and they have to bring in the goods to keep the goods, not knowing whether people will come and buy them or not, and then dealing with like large numbers per day, right? The risk is also there. But do you say like being the middleman means that you buy low and sell high? That's about it. And buying low and selling high, you're not keeping stock anyways, right? You just buy low and sell high. It's almost like immediate. So the risk is like tiny. You're about to get eliminated. With transparency, it will get eliminated. But you know what comes after transparency? Education. In order for a person to appreciate transparency, the person needs to be educated enough to say, hey, I'm going to make use of the transparency that we get in this generation in order to understand that I don't need the middleman. But Achong, 10,000 Achongs, yeah? If they are not willing to be informed, to know that you can do better, so hence you should do better, the culture is always going to be there. It doesn't matter if things are transparent. I'm telling you, things are very transparent nowadays. This is super transparent. You want to find out who's the biggest chicken importer, the biggest beef importer. You might not get the biggest one in the first go. You can get a few big ones and eventually lead to the biggest one. Because that I was talking about 6-7 years ago when I was doing it, right? But now things are a lot more transparent. ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, and everyone is online. Everyone's got a platform now in Malaysia. So things are not the same anymore. But my point is that in order for people to understand the importance and how much transparency can help us, you also have to be educated to begin with. So that would take a whole new generation. So the middleman business still going to be here for a bit, I know. And to talk about the middleman business in China, it really hasn't got anything to do with culture or so.
For them, it's just efficiency, right? I guess.
Correct. Yes, that's how I was going to use. I'll use two words: efficiency as well as competition. I think the whole world knows now. China is extremely well known for dumping prices. So this is how it works. If somebody else is doing it for 20% margin, you don't mind entering the business for a larger market share. You don't mind going in for 15% margin, 10% margin. So in the end, everybody stops at 5% margin. That's what it is. If that's the case, right, if 5% margin becomes the new norm, you can't afford to not be a retailer.
Yeah.
You can't afford to not be an importer. You have to create that vertical integration in order for you to just survive. Just to survive. Not to you don't have the luxury.
Wow.
That's what it is. But in Malaysia, you do still have the luxury. Not for long though, with the globalization going on right now, people moving into Malaysia, not for long though, I'll be honest with you. Because when people realize that integration can be happening, right? That's a billionaire in Japan. Just, because declining population, people are not taking over businesses, right? Okay, they don't have descendants to take over businesses. There's a billionaire, they're just doing M&A, merging all of these things, integration. There are people doing all of these things now because they realize when you look at the data, when you realize integration is possible, things will happen. And that's when it happens, I'm telling you, it sucks for the small guys. It sucks for Bob and Susan who's trying to start something, not big enough to cover the whole integration. Do you get what I'm saying? So now, China didn't choose to do that because of culture. It's competition. Which means that somebody got shot, somebody bled, then you got to make a change. Kind of forced to. That's the world, it's a business world. So yeah, not really a choice.
Interesting. Are there a lot of people currently doing this in the market? Vertically integrating, from your knowledge, in Malaysia?
Yep, depending on the industry. I know that a lot of people are doing like building materials, manufacturing building materials. They will essentially start being a construction company. You see what I'm saying? Building the materials to supply to construction companies. Screw that. You know what? I'll start my own construction company. And
But within the food supply market,
with food
so
supply,
being an importer and retailer, are you seeing that happening? Or do you
Yes,
think you're
yes.
early to ride the wave?
for sure. I was definitely one of the early birds that thought about it at first, because when I was approaching, the big players, the older players in the game, none of them had a website or whatsoever as well. So definitely early one of the birds. But I can see that more and more people are slowly getting into it, especially the younger generation. Let's say if they've got like children and stuff like that, they will start thinking about doing that as well.
So being a first mover in the market, right? How do you leverage that to make sure that in 10 years from now, let's say, hopefully, at best case scenario, maybe if that's how long it takes for us to become a more efficient market, what do you need to do today for you to win that battle 10 years from now?
I love this question, by the way. I really love this question. So first of all, years ago, when people asked me, so what do you do for a living? Explain to me about your business, like a little bit, not too in depth because it gets a bit too complicated. So just tell me briefly. Yep, you know what I'll say? I'll tell them that I found an efficient way, remove the middleman, this and that, and they'll be like, oh, okay, sounds good, right? When people ask me nowadays, what do you do? I just use two words. I do food retail, and I focus heavily on marketing, right? Let me tell you something. Like when you're early in the game, right, you have a advantage. That's true. But here's the but. Your advantage is essentially awareness. And I know for a fact that people are honestly so addicted to attention nowadays. Everyone's constantly trying to get attention. We live in an attention economy that if you have attention, you can do a lot of things in the world. You can sell a bag of rice from the scratch if you really have the world's attention for like 5 minutes. You can sell it. You can become a billionaire, I suppose.
Yeah, Elon Musk started selling rice tomorrow. He has all the capital, right?
Exactly. So that's true. So I realized instead of finding efficient methods to play the game, which is what a lot of people could have picked up a few years after me, right? To say, oh, because I'm constantly relying on the efficient method to cut prices whatsoever, right? I need to grow awareness. People need to know me. People need to know my brand. Because when people know my brand, right, my brand name represents the product. Like I say, I don't want to go into like products with preservatives and stuff like that. Why? I want to keep a clean brand name. When people know my brand and I'm the early bird, I'm getting a lot of traction, a lot of attention whatsoever. Now, that is instilled, ingrained in someone's head.
Yeah.
You can't take that away easily. You can't take that away easily. So that's why the name is Maison Billions, House of Premiums. Do you see what I'm saying? Everything goes back to all roads lead to Rome, essentially. All roads lead to Rome. So I understand that. So when people ask me nowadays, what is your major focus or whatsoever? Trust me, we are no longer living in our parents' generation. In our parents' generation, everything is so traditional, right? We live in an era where attention is money. And you can see it. You can truly see it because Everyone is constantly glued to their phone. So this is where the demand is from. So in order to supply, you have to cut through everything to get back to this phone. The demand is here, scrolling. And you think that, oh yeah, but like it's a lot of people say, a lot of people think that attention is not limited. Attention is extremely limited. Because even if you abuse your attention span today by watching so many TikTok videos, so many reels, you can only watch a limited amount of TikTok videos and reels. Do you realize that? Like, so every single time when you look at another TikTok video, which means the opportunity cost is not a TikTok video, do you see what I'm saying? But everyone is pumping TikTok videos. So who's winning? You get what I'm saying? A lot of people ask me questions. Do you pay for ads? Do you do ads during Chinese New Year's? The answer is no. Because everyone doubled their budget to do it. But everyone's still got 8 hours. Bro, it doesn't change. Like Mr. John, right? It's got 8 hours a day to scroll through TikTok. The day before Chinese New Year. I don't know, the day before Thai Muslim. Same thing. Every single day you have 8 hours, right? The fact that if everyone's pumping money into ads to appear, you're basically competing all the big guys. Because either I get it or you get it. Attention is limited. All the pretty girls are fighting for attention online. Not all the pretty girls get it. Some pretty girls got 300k followers. Some pretty girls got 3. Just the way it is. But everyone is constantly competing, and you know who's happy? Instagram is happy. TikTok is happy. When you're the house and all the players are fighting for the spot, oh man,
The house always wins.
the house always wins. That's what it is. The house always wins. That's what it is. So we live in an attention economy now. I've got a head start. I just gotta keep making use of that. That's the only.
So what is the game plan for you? Break that down. Make it elaborate. Because I'm always interested in how entrepreneurs, I would say most entrepreneurs, if not all, are driven by goals, right? Very ambitious, very goal driven. So they always have this bigger picture in mind.
Yeah.
They know what they need to do today. They know what they have processes and systems in place, but they want to maybe hit 100 million 5 years from now. Those sort of goals. Share with me your goal and how do you reverse engineer that into, okay, this is what I need to start doing. I need to start doing marketing. I need to start opening 5 stores in the next 2-3 years. I need more funding, hire more people. Yeah.
First of all, there are 2 types of products in the world. There are only 2 types. I'm a very simple man. I try to simplify everything. Okay, there are 2 types of product in the world: products that people want and products that people don't want. It's that simple. Products that people want and products that people don't want. So number one rule when it comes to selling a product is make sure you gotta pray to God that your product is the product that people want. Okay, how do you know that? So you look at traffic. So okay, good thing about starting my business as an online grocery is that I get all the data in one go, right? So the data is essentially telling me that how much traffic do I get per day, how much traffic is coming into my website per day, and out of the traffic, how many will stop and how many will buy, and how out of the people that will buy, how many will return. So I'm getting all of these data. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm getting all of these data. So now the key part of the game is that when you're getting all of these data, is telling you whether your product is what people want or what people don't want. You get the answer straight away. Okay, so as long as the product is what people want, thank God, you have done the hardest yard, right? Now, when you are expanding, right, you have to that's what data is very important, because when you're expanding, you will get as much benefit as possible up to a certain point. You don't really see that benefit anymore. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. The growth, right? It will
Diminishing marginal benefit.
Stagnant. You'll be stagnant, okay, for a bit or for long. We don't know that. My point is, when the data looks healthy, is when you have to be aggressive. So it's very strategic, right? Right now I have 2 stores and 4 platforms. People still want my products, so I gotta go quick. Open up a few, like that. Can I tell you that I want 20 stores? No. Maybe I don't make money at 20. Maybe I make the most at 15. It's hard to tell. If I tell you I want 20, right, I'm just speaking like a person with a big dick, saying that I want 20. So when it stops being profitable at 15, just because I want to hit 20, right, and I already promised the world I'm going to hit 20, I'm going to open 16, 17, 18, 19 just for the shit and gigs. No, it's not the way it is. My point is that at every given point, when I look at the data, when I look at the nature of the business, I have to identify whether my products are what people want. As long as the products are what people want, right, give the people the products all the way, like that. Time also plays a huge role. Look, if I want to quick, I can run a franchise. I can tell people that, look, my second store is a lot smaller with our best-selling products. We've done the data for you, auntie. Don't worry. Yeah, you're gonna have one very cute grocery store, to have fun in. Oof, very wholesome, right? Minimum buy-in, traditional business. You will never die. I'll be your supplier. Don't worry, auntie. I got you, auntie. I can do that. Open up many. But can you guarantee the balance between quality control as well as franchise? No. Because when you are franchising, right, yeah, perhaps you can control the supply, but you can't control the customer service. What about a return policy? All these things, like a lot of little things under the one umbrella business, right, that you won't really know until you get into it. But oh my days, like it's so much work to do, right? Little bits of work and everything. All the little messages on WhatsApp, they become very annoying, I'll be honest with you. But once you get them done, you feel productive. That's what it is. You feel productive. You feel like you're doing the right thing. So yeah, now I can do the franchise to open up very quick. But there's no guarantee that I can maintain the quality. Or I can do one at a time, gauging the market, one at a time, okay, by 40, by 45, by 15, by 20, right? And I think that when you, the thing is, we all want a billion. Everybody wants a billion. Don't tell me you don't want a billion. If you just have to snap your finger, right, you get a billion. Everyone will get a billion. It's the work that you're willing to put in to get a billion. Do you want the work or not? It's not really about the billion. Everyone wants the
That's
result.
the price you have to pay, right?
Exactly. But the truth is, I want a billion too. You want a billion too. But the thing is, but as of right now, when I say, okay, I want a billion, and this is what I'm going to do with this. The truth is, the goal is so long term. Even with like a 5% changes, right? You just, the trajectory will just look different. So you go back to just doing the right thing at the right time, as always, and just make sure that you're going the direction is going up, bro. I'm telling you, billionaires, self-made billionaires are hardworking. So it's the guy with 50 million. The guy with 50 million USDs.
Yeah, I remember I heard this somewhere that Elon Musk is not working any harder than the guy who owns a mom and pop's grocery or butcher down the road.
Exactly.
Right? It's just that the value or maybe the educational access that he has is in the US. He had good education, went to a good uni. Yeah.
Exactly. So I could do like all of these
agree,
work, right? I want a billion. I do want a billion. So I can do all of these work, right? And then I get to a billion. Okay. Or I can do all of this when I get 50 mil. I don't know. But you just have to do the right thing at the right time, bro. That's the only thing that's guaranteed is that you
Hard work.
yeah, like discipline. Like at every given point, you control your mind and do the right thing. That's the only way. Because bro, like, it's hard to say. Maybe I end up with 50 mil. Maybe I end up with 1 bill. You don't know. Like so, trajectory, long term. If I really think that this is my plan to get to 1 bill, right? Even a 5% change could wreck the whole plan. Am I right?
Okay, so essentially the strategy to reach that goal of attaining scale is setting up a store, reviewing the data,
Yep.
right? Your turnover, repeat customers, customer service, your products that your customers are buying, how quickly you're selling things off the shelf. Then how do you go about thinking, okay, time to double down? How do you go about thinking which location to pick next, right? What is the concept for this store? How should this be different from the last one? Or maybe it should be the same. Yeah, so first is what are the exact metrics? You sort of alluded to, but let's say if you were to make your own Abraham Lai's formula for scaling, what would those metrics be for the first store before you move to scale to the next store? And the second part is when you're scaling, what are the things that you look at? Let's say 2 to 3 for both sides.
Very typical family. Who's the most meticulous? Who's the most like particular shopper? Mom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And who is the most emotional when it comes to like buying? Moms, right? Ask
Yeah.
the moms. Every single time when the mom comes into my shop, ask the moms. The moms know best because they're the ones spending the money. You can put up some good ads or whatever. The son, the daughter gonna see it, they're gonna laugh it off. And next video it is the dad probably only cares about football, or I don't know, drinking a pint or two. Trust me, it's the moms. The mom is the one spending in my shop, right? Let me tell you, data is very important. I look at the data. A lot of people ask me, why don't you do funny videos anymore? Why don't you speak to the younger crowd? Because they don't shop. Bro, chili palmi in Subang is like what, 14 ringgit. They go and eat and they will save their money and go to queue on the weekend, right? People that actually come to my shop and acknowledge like the quality of my shop are young mums. Sometimes the older mums as well, but the older mums only got closer to me after I opened up my physical shop. But when we were online, the first group of people that put trust in us, talk to us, appreciate us, young mums. Oh, and trust me, when young mums got a budget, they know how to spend. So you talk to them. Hey, so you're from Damansara. Oh, what made you come here? Oh, because you're so far. You'll be so much better if you have one in Kota Damansara, one in Amara. Right down.
You actually write it down?
I get myself to do this sometimes.
Wow.
And also because we have an online business, right? So we can see the address of all our customers and we pull the address together. And then we see which one goes, which one is higher than the other. Then we know that's a demand. Put it this way, the average basket value is also different in every suburb. So You have to do your market research.
Okay. So
Yeah.
speaking to the moms, looking at your data in terms of locations and stuff.
You know, words are free. Do you know why? After the internet era, like there's so like much cyberbullying and so many people are feeling so detached from the real world because making a comment on YouTube, making a comment on Instagram is free. That's why you always see bad comments, like horrible comments, because those people do not have the audacity to say that to a person in real life because the price, the risk that you're taking in real life is getting punched when you say dumb things, right? Okay. When people make comments online like YouTube, Insta, TikTok, most of the time it will not be a good comment, right? Good comments are rare because it's free. If you're angry today, you got bullies, you're just gonna write some dumb comments, whatever. It's free. See, the keyword is free. But if you have to pay a ringgit every time you make a comment, trust me, the bad comments will go away. Am I right? So when you put money into the equation, it becomes more genuine. The mums that buy from me, they actually put money in my business. They're actually giving me money. So I'm getting the most genuine primary sources. You buying my products, you actually believe in me. I want to listen to you. Why do you buy my products? You see what I'm saying? Instead of like going around doing survey, bro, like you can go to Meta ads and do like link clicks. Clicking onto a link is free.
It's not the same.
Yeah. It's free. Like visiting a website is free. Bro, the amount of times that I saw Coca-Cola ads in the past 6 months, right? I never bought Coca-Cola before. Like in the past 2 years, I don't drink Coke. So my opinions don't matter because I won't put money into Coca-Cola. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if Coca-Cola interviews every single Coca-Cola addict, why do you consume our sugar for 20 years plus? You never gave up. You're the most loyal client. Trust me, you would know how to make it more addictive. You would know. You would know. So yeah.
So if you could ask each mom, let's say,
Oh yeah, I'll be. Oh, yeah.
2 questions,
Oh yeah.
just 2,
Yeah.
what would they be?
Number one, what made you pick our shop over our online website?
Okay.
Yeah. Number two, what more do you wish to see from our shop?
Love that.
We always ask the mom that. Moms always know.
And in terms of then, okay, this strategy works, this business model works, okay, picking a new location, the location part, you look at the data that you have. Is it
That's correct.
the account registrations and
That's correct. Data can be very confusing as well. Like data could be, okay, let's say, the place churros pops up like 50 times. Okay. Doesn't mean that you have to open up a branch in churros. Maybe the basket value in churros, let's say churros got university, the average basket value could go down to 50 ringgit. And mom's coming from Damansara, they buy 200 ringgit. So one mom versus four kids. See what I'm saying? So you use the data. You also have to be smart about it as well. Okay, let me ask you another question. When I started doing physical store, I kid you not, the amount of people that gave me shit saying that, bro, why would you not open up? Because I'm right next to SS15, but I'm not in SS15. I'm not even in SS14. Like, the popping areas, right? Popping areas. Oh, you should go to the popping areas like Hatamas, like SS15. Got a lot of people. True, there's a lot of people, but there's no parking. Now, when you go to a restaurant to eat, a nice restaurant, you're planning to sit down at the restaurant for 2 hours. How much time are you willing to spend to find a parking?
less than 15?
Okay, see, everyone's got a ratio. 15 minutes for a 2-hour lunch, right? See the ratio? You don't mind doing that, okay? People that come into my shop, they buy, they leave, it won't be 2 hours. So now let's say it's an hour. They enjoy every single part of my shop, admire it, right? Touch it, feel it, grab it, pay, go. An hour, right? How much time do you reckon they will spend finding a parking? Probably 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say 5.
Firefly.
So if I open up a shop in SS15, am I committing suicide? How can I guarantee young moms to find a parking at SS15, right? Every single day, especially Saturday, Sunday. No chance, bro. And the rental as SS15 is what, like 3 times, 4 times of. So I always like it's also being strategic to find a location that's not a dead end. You don't want a dead end as well. If it's dead end, it's a dead town, then nobody will go there as well.
How do you think about this, bro? For is it from observation? I'm sure it was from part of it is from observation, seeing other people's stores, being in the business
Yeah.
or other stores, not just grocery stores, and just thinking like maybe it was a pain point you had yourself. Like, how do you think about this? I love the.
Put myself into the mom's position. You know how moms always nag, they always get.
So that's something always to put yourself in the customer's shoes.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm really interested in human psychology. I feel like, to be honest, like, Dale Carnegie read the book.
Yeah.
Dale Carnegie already said that human relationships actually matter more than your capability. So honestly, if you're very good at talking shit, you can talk the shit talk all the way to the top. It's true. It is very true. Like, I'm sorry to say, when Trump became the president,
Yeah.
right, he was just a businessman. There were so many people.
Still is, bro.
Yeah, there's so many people below Trump that were in politics for decades, bro, and they thought that this is the path to become the president. Right, the POTUS, this is the path they believe in it. I'm telling you, when Trump actually became president, you know how many people were pissed off? Even in the Republican Party, they would just be like, bro, I worked my ass off for decades being a politician trying to be on top. That Trump came up, human relationship, made a few jokes about Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, yeah, boom, everyone likes him. I mean, enough people like him to put him in the office. There you go. So I read about that when I was 22, the Dale Carnegie book. I finished a few of them.
How to win friends and influence people.
Yeah, and also another one is Stop Worrying, How to Stop Worrying. And yeah, it's a very amazing book, 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Strong recommend
Might
you to
pick it
read
up,
Yeah, top notch.
What's one key takeaway from that book? How to Stop Worrying?
It's pretty straightforward. If you can't change the situation, don't worry about it. If you can change the situation, then don't worry about it. So essentially, the end goal is always not worrying. But the book also mentioned one bit that involves religious views, which is applicable to a lot of religions. I believe that everything happens for a reason. So that statement alone is what puts me at ease every night before bed.
Okay.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. So something will come, something will happen. The consequences might not be immediate, but it will happen along the way. So I'm waiting for it. Like that. So that puts me at ease. So yeah, back to Dale Carnegie. Literally said that, like, people got to the very top, people achieved the things they achieved in life, all because of human relationships. It's not so much about capability. I agree. I went to a few universities. I went to University of Sydney. I went to King's College, London. Do you know one thing? Oh my days. When I speak to older people, so good. They're so good at what they're doing, like math, finance. Really good. They could write 10,000 papers that get admired by people in the same industry, but not normal people. Do you know one thing they lack? They can't communicate.
Right.
But imagine if a person is only 70% of him, but communicate 5 times better.
Wow.
Who's gonna get the prize? Bro, in the world of consulting, in the world of like pitching, like selling, you have to pitch, you have to sell. So if you can't really, like, if you could converse really good, despite understanding only 70% of it, I think the buyers will lean onto you. The buyers, they will lean more onto you instead of somebody else that comes up with all the data, or the raw numbers, and this is, and trust me, I've got a PhD. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's why tech bros get paid a lot more than your Nobel Peace Prize winners, right? Your Albert Einsteins and stuff like.
100%.
I mean, they probably weren't motivated. They're probably more motivated by discovering something new rather than money. But you know what I mean? If they were able to communicate,
Oh yeah,
bro, someone like Albert Einstein would have been. I don't actually know how rich he was, but you get what I mean. You get my
yeah.
point. Right?
If Oppenheimer could explain,
Yeah.
like the bomb to
Yeah.
a 5,
Bro, like the
to a
guy,
5-year-old.
like who's the director of the movie? Christopher Nolan, right?
Yeah.
Bro, he probably made more money making a movie about Albert Einstein and Albert Einstein himself because he told the story out of it.
Exactly, and I think I would go as far to say
Storytelling.
that I think Christopher Nolan is more famous than Oppenheimer. Yeah, I would say so. Like, I mean,
for sure, bro. I didn't even know who
so
Oppenheimer.
the guy, the more famous guy made a movie of a less famous guy. Think about it, just because he's so good at expressing the story of the less
Storytelling
famous.
is
You see what I'm saying?
So you know how you said when you were started, you were immersed in the food industry business growing up, right? So what you had when you started wasn't capital, but you had connections,
Knowledge.
right? Hypothetically, if there was someone else, the son of a millionaire, right? So 30 years old, doesn't have any connections in the industry, but he has the capital. Would he be a threat to you? Essentially, my point is, which is more important in the food industry, capital or relationships? Can you buy your way into success, or are the connections more important to establish yourself? If that makes sense. At this point, I know 20, 30 years ago it was different, but right now, which is more important?
I'm telling you, bro. Like, without knowledge, you're gonna get wrecked. Without knowledge, you are gonna get wrecked.
Sorry, relationships and first-hand information.
Yeah, so blessed to have first-hand knowledge, right, from my family. And then when I was in London, I was constantly discussing with my friends who are from Hong Kong, Singapore, and stuff like that to understand the food market from their very end. I told them, just give me the big names, the places that you think about going in Hong Kong and Singapore. Send me the company profiles, and I'll do research on them all over again. That's what I do, right, to predict the trend. Okay. But that's the best I could do, because at the end of the day, not Jimmy Buffett, not Warren Buffett knows if the stock's going up or down. So we can't predict the future. That's what I'm saying. Okay, without knowledge, you're going to get wrecked. Why would I say that? Bro, the world is printing so much money, right? Like, you think you have capital, But do you have as much capital as the early birds in early capitalism?
No.
No way. Like, you would think that I have capital, I want to start something. Let's say you have 1 mil. 1 mil is capital. 2 mil is capital, right? 300 mil is capital, right? Money is capital, essentially. Let's say you have capital just like a normal person, 1 or 2 mil, right? You go into a business, and like I said, your competition is a guy that just been bought up by the PE firms. They got the data, they got the professionals, they got the capital. Can you out capital the PE firm? No chance. The only way you can beat, right? The only way you can beat the big PE guys, I'm saying, okay, imagine you own somewhere in England, you own a pub that does the best fish and chips. Your customer base is essentially that neighborhood. Simplicity, let's just say Brighton. Your customer base is Brighton people. The Brighton people love your fish and chips, right? You know how to get in touch with those people. You're friends with them. The name of the bar is where they like what to think about. Like, it's like for us, like Village Park. We know Village Park, right? It's very Malaysian. It's very close to us, right? If you've got a foreigner coming along and say, I want to try Malaysian food, no nut, provided no nut allergy, will bring them to Village Park, right? That guy in Brighton selling fish and chips to a family member might outperform the PE guys because the PE guys does not have enough knowledge, localized specific knowledge like the guy to run the show in that community. That's the only way you can win. That guy, the Brighton fish and chip guy, that bloke ain't got no capital to outshine the PE firm. I'm telling you. They're buying everything, bro. They're buying everything. IJM is about to merge with Sunway. I don't know. Is it gonna happen? Bro, when everything merge, right? Bro, like I have a very strong belief. Capitalism leads to monarchy, a fake monarchy down the track. When the big boys, right, all get together, they all join together, they can bend the rules. And when the rules don't apply to them, they're royalty. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? So the only way you can be better than a king, be better than the big guys, is you know your people. You have to know the localized knowledge in that sense. Do you get what I'm saying? Like PE firms, right? PE firms, let's say a PE firm comes from London or like New York, right? Those very capitalistic cities. It came to Malaysia. It would take a long time.
Understand.
Yeah,
That's a good example.
it would take a long time for them to truly understand the consumer behavior or just behavior, right, overall.
The companies here, culture, are very different, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually the only reason why Malaysian Chinese, we can still fight against the mainlanders. That's actually one of the very few reasons that is keeping us alive.
Why? Why do you think we can fight against the mainlanders?
Because Malaysian Chinese know Malaysian Chinese the best. When you look at the Chinese
Oh.
cuisine, yeah. When you look at the Chinese cuisine, those Chinese cuisines from China is extremely broad. Those Chinese cuisines are cuisines that can be found in Melbourne, Sydney, San Francisco, London, San Diego, like everywhere. But whereas Malaysian Chinese, we don't necessarily share the identical cuisine with mainlanders. We have our own cuisine as well. So in order to do business in Malaysia, to get Malaysian clients, you have to understand the localized taste. So that's the reason why we're still fighting. We can still push back a little bit. But when time comes, I don't know how long, God forbid, I don't know how long, okay, down the track, when all the big monies are pumping in, small businesses will exit, this and that, and the whole world will look the same. London, every street in London looks the same because PE firms own all of them and they've got enough capital to just dump. Can't do anything about it. So, yeah, the only way you can win really is very localized knowledge. That's the last bit they can take away.
That's
from
more
you.
important than capital and your connections as well.
Yeah, because I mean,
So put it this way: if someone tomorrow you were to hear the news that this guy's going to buy all the importers, all the retailers, you wouldn't be scared of him if he doesn't have the specialized, localized knowledge.
well, I wish he was white. Then I would not be scared of. Okay, okay. Yeah. If if it was a conglomerate and they're running out 25 businesses in one go, then I wouldn't be as worried. But if it was a big company that have been doing something food related, and it's very much case to case basis. But yeah, I'll say so. Don't get me wrong. If I do have the localized knowledge, I wouldn't mind having an extra 1 million as well. I mean, who would say no to 1 million, right? But I'm just saying, if you have 1 million and zero knowledge, you will get cooked very quick.
At the most fundamental level,
Yeah, you'll get cooked very
knowledge
quick.
is key. So what do you think the future of the food supply market is going to look like Malaysia, let's say 10 years from now, 10, 15 years, a longer term horizon? Do you think grocery would still be like a winner takes most business? Like who would be providing the cheapest ones, convenience and stuff? Or do you think customers would still, I'm not loyal to Jaya Grocer, I'm not loyal to Maison Billions? Like how do you think that will look in an efficient market? Let's say in an efficient market.
They won't be loyal. I don't usually say 100%, but I'm going to say 99.9% when it comes to this. They won't be loyal to a particular brand. They will only be loyal to a brand that's done them right. By doing them right, let me elaborate. When purchasing power goes below a certain point, right, everything feels like a luxury. Well, the truth is, when it comes to young Malaysians like us, right, buying a Japanese car is a luxury. It's a luxury. Don't tell me that real luxury is a Continental or like Ferrari, Lambos, because you're essentially getting fooled by social media. I'm talking about the real world. In the real world, buying any car above like 100k is a big time luxury, because if you think about the average income, the average wages that people are getting, and how much they have to put into cars and stuff like that, right? Yeah, if you can afford a nice car at a very young age, technically you're living a very tough life. You know what I mean? Unless you've done something extremely outstanding in your life in order to get more than the general public. Let's not forget that. That is the core of the society. The society is still like that. And it's only going to get worse. Being loyal to something is a luxury. You're the VIP of RM30k. RM30k flies you out. That's because you're loyal to the brand. But how can you afford to be loyal to the brand? Because you buy 20 watches from them. That's a luxury. Loyalty is luxury. But in the world, let's say if we were to go back to 100 years ago, everyone's enlisted. We have to go back to World War II. Shit, man. Okay. We need a watch. Because apparently we can't use phones, because phones can be tracked. Now we need a watch. In that scenario, with no resources going back to World War II, do you still have the luxury to be loyal to RM30k? You'll be lucky to have a Seiko watch, bro. You get what I'm saying? So only when time is really good, you can say that, I wish to be the VIP of RM30k. I'm going to buy 20 watches from them, and I'm going to get invited to Switzerland every year. Right? That's loyalty. Okay, that is an extreme case. So let's tone down a little bit. Let's go back to, I'm loyal to Jaya Grocer. I will only shop at Jaya Grocer. I will only shop at Big. I will only shop at Village Grocer. Great. But what if one day Jaya Grocer increased the price by 20%, but the quality stays the same? Would you still be loyal?
No.
If you have the money, if somebody in your family is married to that family, you're so
luxury.
Yeah.
Switching cost is low as well. Right. It doesn't cost a lot to, switch from Jaya Grocer to Village Grocer if it comes at the benefit of me saving, the 10-20% margin, yeah.
The first principle that you have to understand when it comes to consumer behavior is that everyone's selfish. Everyone's selfish. If people are not selfish, not selfish, self-centered. If people are not self-centered, brands will not do discounts. Brands will not do promotions. Discounts and promotions benefit the consumers. When you create an ad,
I understand.
when you create an ad saying how good you are, hey guys, we are the best farm in the world. Everything is organic, truly organic, certified by so many,
They won't care. What's the benefit for them?
They won't care unless when you talk about
health
about the farm.
benefits.
Yeah, how can my farm benefit you?
Yeah,
you can get healthy stuff for cheap
lower
price.
risk of.
Yeah, now people say, oh shit, no, I want to know. Why do you think people use influencer to get to younger girls, younger guys? Let me tell you why. Because the influencer is essentially telling you that you can be like me. It's about what you're gonna get in the end. You're gonna be like me.
Yeah,
See what I'm
selling
saying?
the lifestyle, selling the outcome.
Yeah, exactly. Like if influencers are telling you that no, you're gonna watch me drive that Ferrari, and you never get that Ferrari, people just unfollow.
People want to feel like they can achieve it too.
People want to feel like them. That's what it is. So which means that people are self-centered.
Yeah.
They only care about what they can get at the end of the day. Okay. And there is no nobility when you feel aligned with Jaya Grocer, unless that's a particular reason that makes you feel that way. But generally speaking, there is no reason. So down the track, things are only going to get harder. I don't know how nations are going to get wealthy and wealthy. I really don't know. People are saying that AI could really boost the world, but there's an AI bubble. We don't know what's the end of the bubble. We don't know that. The younger generation are relying on AI to do their homework now.
Yeah.
So if the bubble is real, what's going to happen to productivity down the track?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The real human productivity will not be the same as the previous generation. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going to happen down the track, but I don't think the world is going to become healthy, because even if you ask ChatGPT to write down a possible scenario based on capitalism that we live in, what's going to happen in the end, they will say the wealth gap will get extremely extreme, right? The 1% will only owe, and towards the end, you owe nothing, right? The mass market being in the middle will only get poorer and poorer. For me to say that I believe that will get better is me fighting against all theories out there. The theories are to be found. The theories are there. Like they are really there. Like you don't have to get a map to look for the treasure. You don't. It's already there. Down the track, it is a luxury to be loyal. It will be a big time luxury to be loyal.
Amazing. What's one belief about entrepreneurship you had at 23 when you're first starting out Maison Billions that you no longer agree with?
Back then, I felt like I was like going on a belief of being sacrificial.
Okay.
Like,
In order to achieve a goal.
yeah, it's got more to do with the fact that, let's say, back then when everything was hands-on, how I only got 3 staff to do if everything was hands-on, if I was doing everything, I feel like if I was doing everything, including the delivery, including this and that whatsoever, I'll get the reward, because hard work leads to something, right? That's not true. I realized that you can have a list of things to do, right? You could be hungover, very sick, to complete the list, right? But a lot of the times, later on, after I've experienced quite a bit of things, I realized that most of the very significant outcomes that I've experienced in my life, right, came from decisions that I made when I was very calm. Dude, if Jeff Bezos is going to get a massage right now, right, going for a holiday, because he's got a big decision to make, right? As big as, let's say, Elon Musk buying X, Twitter, right? Those 2 days that he's thinking, getting a massage, reflecting, trust me, is work. That is work. Because you're covering all corners. Instead of you just saying, I have to make a decision by the end of today, that's not work. Sometimes I feel like work is not just work. Work comes in many forms. I'm giving you one more example that this is what really inspires me. Do you see Xi Jinping, how he talks to people? He doesn't. He's just quiet. He's just staring at the guy. That's what Xi Jinping does, right?
Caught me off guard, bro.
Yeah, okay, so like when you look at Trump, when you look at Xi Jinping, okay, Xi Jinping just always like looking at you like the face expression doesn't change. He acts like he doesn't understand, but he's got the best translator in the world right next to him. That guy is probably like trained beyond CIA, FBI level. You think Xi Jinping doesn't understand? He does. He just looks at you. So you think that he's not working because he's not communicating. Instead of like Trump just loves talking to people, right? Trump's like, yeah, very good friend. So very good friend of mine. Amazing, yeah, awesome. Like Trump's like that. Xi Jinping just looks at you, bro. Xi Jinping not doing work is doing work. Like when he's not doing work, he's looking at you like that. That's work. He's meant to intimidate you. That's his job. So like I said, if Jeff Bezos goes on a holiday, feeling relaxed, making that decision, that's work, bro. That's work, bro, because it is these little things, these decisions that lead to something bigger. Bro, the world is not fair. I'll be real, the world is not fair, bro. Like I said, you can be hardworking all your life, 50 mil, well deserved. You can be hardworking all your life, equally hardworking. You miss a turn somewhere and got lucky. Yeah, you hear what I said? You miss a turn, then get lucky. Not you made the right turn. Sometimes you could be the other way around. You have 1.5 billion. They're both equally well deserved. Yeah. That's the thing. So I used to define work as just work. Mm-hmm. Then I realized, as I grew a bit older, I realized work is not just work. Like when Xi Jinping is not doing shit, like he's just looking at you like that, right?
So what does that look like in your life when it might not seem to the average person's eyes, to the normal person's eyes, that you're not doing work, but actually you are doing work?
For instance, when you're dealing with people, because when you grow the company, you have a lot of delegation. So when it comes to delegations, right, you do have to really emphasize on human relationship. And sometimes saying too much is the wrong thing. Saying too little is the wrong thing, because everyone's different. So you have to understand how the person is whatsoever to create a dynamic that allows you to delegate. Because here's the thing. When I was running an online business, everything was pre-sent. We have a place for you to create the goods, to send the goods, to pick up the goods. But slowly, when I started going to multiple shops, things are no longer that centered, right? Bro, there's no way I can work at all 20 shops in one day. There's no way I can work at all 20 shops in one day. So does it mean that I'm not going to have the 20 shops? No, I am going to have 20 shops, but you have to know how to deal with people. That's work. That's work.
So that's work that at the initial stages of an entrepreneurship journey or someone just starting out, or to the customer, might not look like work, right?
Mm.
Okay, so that's sort of the realization, the epiphany that you've had when you're first starting out. It's all about, you put in the groundwork, you do X, you get Y.
And I'll give you another example. 5,000 years of human history. Yeah. There are things that cannot be changed. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Okay. In a meeting of business setting, when you enter a room, if you have that great confidence, if you know what you're talking about, if you're very good at describing,
Commanding the room, the
yeah,
attention.
communicating, it is only natural that the other party will be like, I don't want to screw this guy over. But if you come in, sorry to say, obese, you don't,
Bad self-image.
bad self-image, you're not well groomed, you're wearing your uncle's like pants from the barbecue party last week, I don't know. Yeah. It is so natural for the person to be like, I don't care if I could screw the guy over. Because in human history, bro, like every single time when a man bumps into another man, that's an instant like comparison. We just made that way, bro.
Yeah.
Every lion that bumps into a lion when it comes to the Sahara Desert, right? Just be like, can I beat you? That's what it is. Or if the other lion is stronger than you, bigger than you, like, maybe not today. Let me bulk up a little. You know what I mean? That's what human beings are the same. In a business meeting, it's nearly impossible that you act the same when you have 1 billion backing and not 0 billion backing. Because you can act the same, but it's bluffing. You're not acting, you're bluffing. You know what I mean? That's not... you're not acting based on what you actually have. You're just bluffing.
Yeah.
But that is more like you believe in it, like you fake it till you make it. Nothing wrong with it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not genuine. You know what I'm saying? My point is, there is a very natural inclination, proclivity for you to feel like you need to compare yourself with the person that you're dealing with. Bro, like when Italian mafias in New York meet each other, the first thing they think about is like, can I screw you over? That's the first thing you think about. Like, if I eliminate you tomorrow, what's gonna happen to me? It's a game theory. You did economics, you know the game theory. I can't really screw you over because this is gonna happen to me. Hence, keep us in harmony. Unspoken rules and regulations that keep them in harmony. But it doesn't take away the fact that everybody is constantly thinking about out-competing each other.
Abraham, we have a closing tradition on this podcast where the last guest leaves a question for the next guest, not knowing who they'll be leaving it for. So the question is, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Describe it as vividly as possible.
I wish I was right with my products. I wish I was right with my business model so that in 10 years, a lot more people will actually know my product and want my product. So my product will fall into the category that people want, and I was right all along. I bet on the right horse. That's what I want. How big? I don't know. I'll be happy with 15. I'll be happy with 20. But most important bit is that I'm doing the right thing all the time, growing it. Maybe 8 platforms, 24 stores. I'll be happy with that. And I know that people do want products, and I bet on the right horse. I bet on the right industry. That's what I want. It will feel very good if I just happen to be right. People realize that, I don't want to pay for overpriced stuff at grocery store for convenience. Time is tough. We have to switch consumer behavior, go to specialized stores with lower prices. I was right. If I bet on the right horse, I'm happy.
Just before we tie a bow on this episode, just a fun question I'd like to ask that I thought of. So, when people watch this episode 5 years from now, if there was just one thing that they could take away, what would that one thing be? 5 years from now.
From this particular episode, if everything I said hadn't happened, it would still happen. Like I said, I feel like changes nowadays, when you look at the graph, it's exponential. But when it's exponential, right, towards the very end, right, even a little difference could bring a huge difference in terms of the effects, right? Maybe we're not here yet, we're here. That's why the effects are very big.
Yeah.
But I want people to always remember that things will not be the same. We have to keep watching out. Because when the exponential change happens,
Boom.
Too late. Too late. That's what it is, yeah.
Abraham, it's been an absolute pleasure. I think, what time is it? It's 3:30, bro.
Yeah.
Started rolling at 12.
Smash it.
3 hours, probably 3 hours because we not accounting for the breaks as well.
Tea time, yeah.
Yeah, tea time. Don't think the final content will be this long. Just taking into account the viewers' time constraints, attention economy as well. Keep it short, focus. I mean, it'd be hard for me to edit out anything because I feel like it's just been gems after gems, right? Gems of wisdom, gems of knowledge, insights into the food industry and just into your thinking, your thought processes. It's been a pleasure, like, just speaking with you, man. Bro, I just felt like, bro, I can't believe it's 3:30. I have this saying, the best conversations are the ones where you lose track of time.
Yeah. I lost track of
Bro,
time. Yeah.
3:30, bro.
And I feel light, bro. Like
I feel like I could fly after this. Like, thank you so much for your time. And if those who are listening, they want to find out more about you, the work that you do, Maison Billions, what you'll be doing in the future, where's the best place to keep up with what you do? Instagram, LinkedIn, drop some ads, bro.
yeah, at Maison Billions _ that's me on IG.
Okay.
Follow that thing, and we're gonna do a lot of amazing things. Gonna
Yeah.
come up with a lot of shops and stuff like that. You know, if you want to do your mum a favor, follow that thing. I'll do you some promotions. We all love mums.
Look straight in the camera, bro.
Yeah, we love
moms.
we all love mums. Follow Maison Billions _ on IG. Right, we're gonna do amazing things, a lot of amazing things, truly, truly amazing things, and we're gonna do a lot of promotions for the mums as well. So if you do your mum a favor, your mum will be very happy. We all love mums.
All right, bro. Abe, it's been an absolute pleasure.
My
Thanks,
man,
brother.
my man,
Thanks, brother.
my man.
Oh, that was clean as that, bro. Woo! Ah,
Meant to be in it.
brother.